Let's do a mic check. Who's with me? I apologize for being in a lot late, not a little late, a lot late. Let's do a sound check. Can you guys hear me over on YouTube? My system was down for so many days that if I cut it on at the last minute, um I don't know what I'm going to get. I don't know if I have to re-log in, reboot my system. I don't know. But this today I had to reboot the system, and it just made me do a bunch of stuff, re-logins and recalibrate some things in the system, and it just take a long time to do that. I apologize. Mondays are real bad for that because if we have a long weekend or if I don't come in on a Friday, I have all of Friday. I have Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and it just for some odd reason the system just, I don't know if it collapsed or what. Brenda Harris, check one. She said check one. Check one. I'm assuming that means microphone check. check one, check two, and she's the one. What's up, Brenda? How you doing? Thank you for being here. Sounds good. Lamont Jones says good sound. Hey man, I appreciate y'all. Just don't know how much I appreciate people that come here and tolerate me and listen to me. And um, this is my therapy session. So it means a lot to me when people come in and share my world, share what we all share. I think that people, no matter what your financial status is, no matter what your marital status is, no matter what your, how your relationship are with your kids, no matter what your relationship is with other people, I just think that we all have so much in common. I think the human race, I don't care what color you are, you know what I mean? I just think we all have so much in common. I just think that we tend to use our differences more than we use our commonalities, the things that we have the most in common. And I just really try to, I really want to try to I try to bring people together more so than keep us divided for the things that we really could fix. I mean, I don't know how to say this, but and I don't know how to say this without sounding arrogant, without sounding conceited. All the shit that they call you when you have when you're enthused about how you're living. When you're happy. Happy people can't be around miserable people. It's just a real bad combination. You ever notice that people generally hang around the type of people that they are? You know what I'm saying? Like if you're a happy person, you hang around happy people. If you're miserable, you generally stand around and hang around people that are miserable because you make each other feel good in being miserable. Happy people make happy people feel good for being happy. They're not really down on you because you had a good day. Sometimes the happiness can kind of get into a competition. Bad shit get into competitions as well. I've noticed that. I remember, you ever heard somebody that had a bad day and then somebody want to try to trump your bad day by giving you even more, worse of a bad day? Well, at least, I know your cat got hit this morning, man, but damn, I lost my cat last week. Right after that, she was pregnant. She was having like 15 in the litter. I lost all of that. I'll be like, man, listen, if you can't make my day better, then I don't even want to be around you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm that type of person that I love good energy. That's why y'all see me ignoring bad energy on here. Some people think that when they're against what I'm saying, or they're saying the opposite, or they have a difference of opinion, that I just don't want to hear it. And that's not what it is. I just know that your energy is not right. I know a counter argument versus some chaos shit. You feel what I'm saying? Y'all know what I'm talking about? It's like the person who pretends that they love you. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. But you catch up to them a little bit later. We all been through that. I'm no different. You're no different. We're all the same. It's just the differences in people that I've learned over my years of living are how you handle adversities, decision making, and how we deal with things that just aren't right, how we deal with people that aren't right, how we face obstacles. That's the only difference. If you ever notice people, the people that have the most in common are the people who handle things the same way. Does that make sense to anybody, man? Or am I just rumbling? You feel what I'm saying? Like there's some people, look, I can tell you this right now. The difference between mothers and fathers, in my opinion, I didn't really have a father, but I'm just going by, what I've learned from mothers, especially single mothers, is this. What's a mother? If we had to take if we took a vote, if we took a poll, not a vote, if say we took a poll, what do you think most single mothers, and if you're a single mother, you have an advantage, but what do you think the number one thing that a mother says to a child when obstacles are in the way? Such as, hey, like, I know today is the first day of school in your new school, baby, whether you a girl or a boy. The mother's approach to that child is going to be totally different than the father's. See, a mother has this thing that for some odd reason, y'all just have this thing that, it's going to be all right, baby. See what I'm saying? It's going to be all right. A father tends to think a little bit different. It's going to be all right, but that's not what we say. We kind of wake up, we kind of bring the obstacles to the forefront. And we say, hey, look, man, when you get in there, you're just going to meet new people. You're going to get in there. You're going to meet some people you ain't going to want to deal with. Matter of fact, what you're going to do is you're going to meet some people that you're going to be with for the first month of school. And then after that, you'll find a new circle. And then after all that, bro, see, fathers we do highlight the negative because that's that fence of protection we want you to have. Where mothers, absolutely, Alethea, sis, y'all more compassionate. So y'all say things like, it's going to be all right, baby. You don't even know what the kid is going through, what the biggest fears are yet. Mamas always say, it's going to be all right. Y'all always say that. And you mean it. There's no knock on that. I love it. My mother used to always tell me, it's going to be all right. It's going to be all right. You'll get through it. And here it is, 2025, and I've been through so many it's going to be all right. And my mother was absolutely right. Even when it went all wrong, I survived it. You survived it. So it's always going to be all right. But I think the difference between some people in this world are how you handle the obstacles. How we deal with them. That's Donna said, you're blurred, Wyatt. Back out and come back in. My monitor looks good. And then I haven't heard that from anyone else. So back out, Donna, and come back in and see if that works. We had a whole lot. How was everybody's weekend? How was everybody's week? My weekend was amazing. My weekend was amazing. I'm just going to say it right away. I think I had the best weekend in probably 2-3 years. As you guys know, I wasn't here on Friday because I had to go to Columbus, Ohio for my baby's white coat ceremony. Okay. I don't know how I was able to do it, fam, but I held it together. I didn't cry. I didn't shed a tear. And I think the reason why is because I was amongst parents that was acting like we're supposed to be here. Shit, little Julie been rocking these grades and been rocking well her whole life. She's supposed to be here. Oh, little Tim's supposed to be here. This is some normal stuff for us. This is what we do. Matter of fact, I got a kid that's about to graduate from medical school the end of this semester. I was around that. Normal, regular, where accomplishments are just accomplishments. Just regular. And I had to get my normalcy hat on. I just had to be like, I still deep down inside was so happy, so proud. But at the same time, my daughter's been there a couple weeks now. Well, this is the second week. Today was actually their first day of class, actual learning. The last week was all, what do they call it? When, when they go in and they, you learn the ropes. You go, you just get to know what you're gonna need for the school year, orientation type of a situation. But now they're in the books. Today was the first day what they finally cracked open a book. You know what I mean? And I'm a super, super proud dad. You know, and she introduced me to some of her friends that she's met in the last week, and we got an opportunity to meet their family. And I'm saying to myself, like, yeah, I can see why some of these folks think that something like this is normal. But for the record, I just want to let y'all know, just so you'll understand who I am and what I'm about, for those that may be new here. My family is only one generation out of the hood. I grew up in the hood. My daughters never seen the hood. I mean, that's an accomplishment for the Wyatt bloodline. Like, they're one generation removed from the hood. You understand what I'm saying? So of course, when you see and you accomplish certain things and you're going in certain directions in your life, you really, I as a father look at that and be like, wow, this is amazing. Where some of the people that I met over the weekend, you could tell, like my daughter's friend who she met last week, and they're kind of hanging tight in the same, they're in the same med class and medical school. That she's from Louisville, Kentucky. Her undergrad was at the University of Kentucky. They're from Louisville. And you can tell that they've done this and been here before. You feel me? And you neither. Oh, that's Jesse. All right, Jesse, what's up, bro? He said you neither. Jesse, one of those that like to come in and clown me. So don't worry. That's my buddy. That's my friend. We go back. We've been joking and playing the dozens for years with each other. We real cool, but that's my brother. But sometimes he tap dance on my last nerve, and I have to serve him every once in a while. But it's all good. But anyway, one generation removed. You feel me? So I'm a proud father. Let me get this in before I move on to a couple things I want to talk about. I want to take a moment to show you guys my weekend, picture of my weekend. That's myself, of course, my beautiful wife, and my daughter Trinity in her white coat ceremony. This was on Saturday in Columbus, Ohio, at the university. Hey, Jesse, Morgan Freeman, I don't even think Westchester was around when I was a kid. Not that I know of. But anyway, that's our weekend there. And to be honest with you, if it really means anything to anyone, we had a great dinner afterwards. Let me get one more in here. This is the whole family. That's myself, of course, my beautiful wife, and my two daughters, both students. My daughter Trinity, and of course my oldest daughter, Randy. Super proud of them all. And we had an excellent weekend up in Columbus, Ohio. Yeah. See, I'm going to tell you something. My daughters got my wife's beauty, but they got their daddy's brain. I don't know if that's. I know they gonna be mad at me if they watch this one here, boy. I tell my wife that all the time. I'm like, they got your beauty, but they got daddy's. They got the daddy's. Actually, to be honest with you, I think that I got lucky. They collect my wife's beauty and, of course, my wife's brains. I don't know if I was never good at biology. You feel me? I was not good in that area of schooling at all. So I got to give my wife the credit there. That all being said, man, I want to thank everybody for coming in today. Yes, my weekend was well in Columbus, Ohio. And we're off. Now we're off. Now we're class of 2029. shit sound forever ago, right? Like it sound like it's gonna be forever to come around and land. I said that when my daughter stepped foot on campus for the very first time. I said 4 years. That's my oldest. 4 years. The shit flew by. My youngest, who's now in med school, she finished college. She got her bachelor's degree in 2 years. So that really flew by. It was like she was in school for a year, it seemed like. But all that being said, man, thank you for those that watched the video. I did the white coat ceremony online so people could see it live because I wanted to bring the family in so you guys could see it as well. And I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. You know, I'm gonna say something. I'm probably only say this one time, maybe one time meaning one show. I don't know. I can't promise this, but I just want to bring something to you guys' attention. There's 130 young men and young women in my daughter's class, this med class, medical, you know, and she is one of 4 blacks out of 130. There's 2 females, one of them being my daughter, and there's 2 young men. One of them, I think he was adopted. Not that that really matters. It doesn't matter to me. But he's a young man, a little light-skinned little dude, looks mixed, unless somebody had an affair, some shit like that. I'm just saying, could be, you know. But the other little dude was probably my wife's color, like skin tone, and he had braids. And like my wife, when they were calling names and stuff, my wife kept nudging me because every time they called one that looked like us, for some odd reason, my clap got louder. You know, it was very obvious to my family. They pick up on shit like that. I don't know why, but when they called, you know, the little bro, I'm like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And his people was a little bit behind us in the, you know, and I was with them. They had signs and shit. You know, that would have been me. That's really me. But I didn't go to the extremes of the signs. They had a sign, they had like the little thing, the paddle and shit, which you hold up with the face of the young man on it. And I was cool with that. I mean, it was a little much, but I was cool with it. And it seemed like I would clap louder when it was only 4 loud claps with us, including my daughter. But I was really happy to see the 130 classmates, 129, including her 130. And I wish it would have been a little bit more of us in there, to be honest with you, because when you're going through those hard classes and you're going through those type of situations, it's all about building relationships. And you want your children to be around people that they feel comfortable with, that you know may have had some of the same obstacles and going through some things. You want your family, you want your daughters and your sons, you want them to be. Now, Jenny said, "You mean locks?" Now he had braids. You know how we do cornrows and go back to the back. No, it was braids, and that's why I was like, yeah, my boy. You know what I'm saying? Felt like he was a son. You know what I mean? He had braids. And I was, I don't really do braids. I like clean braids and with a shape up. You know how they got I don't really do them old. It was an old school braid, the old school braids. You know what I'm saying, Jenny? Like the braids that go back. You know what I'm saying? Braids. Yeah. But that's why I was excited. I was like, yes, That all being said, man, I do pay attention to certain things though. I pay attention to the where we are. Where are we? And it was important to me to have my daughter join certain little clubs, certain little things that could enhance information, because a lot of clubs that are in colleges tend to be able to find out things, and they have researchers, people that go in and know certain scholarships, they know certain things, certain I don't know, certain job placement opportunities. These clubs tend to work hand in hand, away, for the school, in the school, but also away from the school. So I want my daughter to get involved in a lot of things like that. All right, I've had a lot of this little chit chat. Let's get into a couple things that I wanted to discuss. Um, Couple disappointing things. Let's get the disappointment out of the way. Okay. First of all, I didn't catch the score of the Withrow game. Did Withrow Tigers, did y'all win? Did we win this weekend? And if we did win, what was the score and who did we play? I'm in Cincinnati, so I should be able to find out these things. I will definitely find out right after the show, unless you guys tell me now. I can't wait to walk the streets of Cincinnati. Matter of fact, I may even go down to court tomorrow in Hamilton County, because one of the things I wanted to talk about, you know what? I'm not going to front. I probably won't go, because I might end up trying to interview someone, or I might hold my phone up or ask a couple questions to some of the people that I know been perping all this time, and it might not go too well. It may not go too well. I don't want to talk about the situation in downtown, but I kind of have to, because from my understanding, the Russian who was charged with a misdemeanor, he's in court tomorrow. And he's going to be in misdemeanor court tomorrow. That's a 12:30 docket, I'm pretty sure. And he's going to walk in and he's going to walk out. And he's probably, if he's smart, he'll plead it out right then and there. He would just say, I'm guilty, and take his little $100 fine and be gone. That's what I would do. That's exactly what I would do. But here's what I'm listening to and what I'm watching. And certain people are very strategic in their ways of dealing with things, because what will happen is you guys will assist him in getting money because you're so angry. And anger always tends to work in the favor of the person that you're mad at. It never really benefits the angry person. Never. He'll end up with a lawsuit against the city. He'll end up with a few other things. And I knew it was coming, because number one, they're abusing the system. And now you're going to have some people down there that's going to getting paid that's going to solidify his lawsuit. Y'all might not want to hear this, because I'm always on the side of some shit you don't really want to hear. But I told you guys, you're looking for something to happen that could benefit this man. When you charge this dude, you're not going to get it from the prosecutor's office, because they don't have a felony case to charge him with. You're going to have to go to the solicitor office. It's going to have to be your city council or some ranking member of the city. Thank you, Carolyn Smith. She said, my Withrow Tigers 35-0 to Milford. I'm going to talk about some of them scores here in a minute. 35-0 Withrow Tigers. Death row. But let me get back to what y'all wanted that man charged. Now, I told you they was going to dust off the regular leaders and dust them off so they can go protest and all that old shit, and so they can look relevant. Here they come. Here they come. They're going to be down there tomorrow. Okay, I already know. And they're going to look like they got an argument. They're going to look like shit ain't right. And you should ask them, have they seen the evidence? Here's what you should ask a leader that's sitting out here crying and hollering about some shit that's not fair. Just ask them this one thing. Have you seen the evidence that the prosecution will be using in this case? That's the only thing you need to ask them. If they say no, I seen the video on the camera just like you. Need I say more? Need I say more? If they say, yeah, I seen it, and what they have is absolutely nothing, that's a different conversation. But they're not going to tell you that. They're not going to tell you that because they haven't seen the evidence. Here's what I like to say about this. Remember back in the election time, I know this is going to sound a little political. This isn't a political argument. This is a I told you so moment. Yeah, I do that at times. Remember when I told y'all when we were talking about, I would always say I hate politics because all people do is talk about they op all the time. All they talked about the whole time was him and not that person. They never talk good about, I used the breakdown of why you always talking about your ex, or why you always talking about the other person. You talk bad about that person, but you never say anything good about your person. I don't live in a world where you have to badmouth someone for me to understand who they are. I would say this. If I was coming into you and I wanted, okay, let's just say I had a competing podcast, same time, same city, same everything. My job, why would I badmouth the other place? I don't have to talk bad about them. All I got to do is do what I do. Talk good about what we do here, right? For me to talk bad about them, that would be me using hate for you not to go to them, not to be on their side, not for you to be entertained by them or whatever it is you get out of this. Why would I do that? I'm just going to be me and do what I do, talk good about what we do, talk about our accomplishments, talk about what I can provide for you, not what they not doing, not what they can't do for you. That makes no sense to me. And I feel the same way in politics. They run all these ads, putting the other person's name out in the sky. Oh, this is what he did. You don't want to believe him because he ain't nothing but a liar. He's a cheat. He's a liar. He's this, he's that. Meanwhile, the person that they want you to vote for, they ain't got shit to say about that person. And is this not the same argument that I had a long time ago? I'm not changing anything up. I'm saying exactly what I said 6, 7 months ago, 8 months ago. You're probably wondering why I'm even talking about it. Well, here it is. Let's just talk about the prosecutor for a second, just for a hot second. Remember Melissa Powers, former prosecutor, and the prosecutor before her, Joe Dieters? Y'all know everything about them, don't you? Because y'all talked about them all the time. They racist, the white woman, the cream, the doll baby, white people, racist, racism, the court stuff, racism, rah, 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 rah. That's all you did was talk about Melissa Powers and how she ain't shit and this and this and that. And Joe Dieters racist and blah, 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 blah. Ain't shit. Nah. Now, that's how you work your politics. That's you talk bad about the person that you don't want people to vote for. But you never focus on the person that you're actually voting on. Because some people's logic is, I'd rather have this than that. And they don't even know what this is, but they certainly don't want that. I don't know what world you living in, but the world I live in, sometimes that is just as bad as this, and this is just as bad as that. I need to know which is what. Well, that's just how politics work. I remember my man E told me. Well, that's just how it worked. Well, maybe that's why most people who look at shit that way end up with the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, because that's their strategy. In a world of business, people with strategy like that would be unemployed. They would never be able to be successful in business, because if you keep doing the same thing over and coming out with the same losing track record, you're never going to win. So my question to you is this: all of the people that was talking bad about Melissa Powers and Joe Dieters for decades, or whatever, however long that was, what did you know about Connie Pillage? What did you know about her? What did you know? Did you know that she could be worse than Melissa Powers, just as the same as Melissa Powers, or she was going to be different than Melissa Powers? What did you know? What did the people who had your ear, what did they tell you about the new lady? What did they tell you about this lady? Nothing, because you was focused on the other one. You was focused on not letting that one. And all I'm saying to you, that's called identity politics. When you put people in place for popularity versus their policies. I don't know, Brenda Burt. You tell me, is she worse? I think the black community, either she's worse or black folks don't know how to read prosecutors. Y'all don't know the law. So let's see. Are we gonna face it as an accountability moment and say, hey, maybe we've been wrong all this time? Or are we going to say all these prosecutors are the same, even the ones we vote for? See, we can't have it both ways. We can't be right without being wrong in one case. You can't say Connie Pillage is not as bad as Melissa Powers or Joe Dieters. When you're getting the same type of prosecution that you were getting under those two people of Joe Dieters and Melissa Powers, it's either they're the same person or we've been reading law different. Wrong. I'll slow down a little bit. Because Brenda said, is she worse with a question mark? I think the black community would say yes. She's had 3 opportunities to make how y'all interpret law to be fair. See, me, I see it a little bit different because I understand. I understand the difference between felonies and misdemeanors, the actions between the two. I understand. So when some people call the treatment of being racism and it's just racism and it's treating a black person, I see different actions in the law. I judge it by the actions that a person took. And some lead out. They lead out with the black and white shit. And it's not always about that. But if you lead out, if you've been taught to concentrate, focus in that area, then that's what you're going to get. And you always going to feel like something is against you or you've been done wrong. And here's the sad thing about it. No matter if I'm right or wrong in this, I'm going to say it the way I know it. The sad thing about it is you got leaders who walk you down them dark tunnels. You got leaders that they probably don't know any better themselves, to be honest with you. I'll give them the benefit of that doubt. But I do know there are some leaders that know the right. They know it, and they know that they're doing it the wrong way. Because I'm talking, Sierra says, why do you always say y'all when you don't know how everyone thinks? Well, I'm sorry. It's not an alien way of addressing my audience. I'm not talking to everybody, Sierra, at the same time. When I talk about certain things, I've made this clear. Sierra, when I'm talking about something, it don't always fit everyone. Everybody that I talk to on here can't relate when I talk about downtown or when I talk about living a certain way or growing up a certain way. Am I alienating them? I have to go by what I see, what I hear, what I feel, and what I sense. Not everything that I say should be taken personally by everybody that's listening. It ain't for everybody. There's some people right now that know exactly what I say when I say they. I'm talking about the think tank. That's they. The people that think that way. There's tons of people that don't think that way, that they know I'm not talking to them. But you live in a city that's being led by they. And that's why they got them thinking that way right now. That's why they will be downtown in the courtroom. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. I would think that that's the way they have to be relevant. Because they're going to go down there hollering and screaming about it. Why didn't you charge this man with a felony when he didn't commit a felony? And they don't even really know past what you seen, what we seen. As leaders, that's not how you're supposed to be. A leader would fall back and say, hey, let's see what they have. Let's see where they're coming from, what angle. We can't take the position of what we think. We don't even have the evidence. That sounds stupid. So what are they going to do? They're going to do what they always do to their crowd. Look relevant. Look like they fighting for the people. You're just going to get a different, this is just different over here. It's just different. You don't get that think tank. You get an opportunity to maybe see things. It don't mean I'm right. It just means that I'm giving people a different way of seeing some things that's going on. Trust me, I don't hate anybody or think. One thing you'll never hear me say that a lot of people on their side will say, they use the word stupid. I've never called anybody stupid on here. I've never even called a point of view stupid. Now, maybe when a caller called in and I'm like, man, that's dumb as hell, because it was. But I've never called a group of people stupid. I've never called a group of people like, I've never belittled them as a group. I've never done that. Unfortunately, Tanika, I can't. I'll speak to that. She says, in my opinion, it's best to say some people or some of y'all versus y'all, which sounds like all of us. No, it don't. Why? I've made it very clear a long time ago. Do you feel that same way when I'm talking about something that may not be something that you don't agree with? When I say when we grow up, we played tetherball and hopscotch right there by Taft. I mean, I'm not talking to you if you didn't do that. I'm talking to people that I know are logged in and I know who I rocked with. Let's not make it seem, don't be like that, y'all. Come on now. Don't take it personal when I say something that don't nobody like, that might not fit the narrative that you believe in. All right. And now you want to make it's a y'all thing. No, I'm talking to those that if the shoe fit, wear it. If it's them, it's them. If it's those, it's those. That's what I'm saying. It's very clear. It's all calm, cool, collective when I'm saying something about a group of people that I grew up with. Don't nobody be like, oh man, they be tripping over there, bro. He be talking to them. No. I'm talking to those that it fit. I'm sorry. You're not talking to a trained dude. You're talking to somebody like if we was sitting in my living room. You're talking to a regular dude. You're talking to somebody that's not trained by media. I'm not that. I'm as authentic as you possibly gonna get. And nobody's gonna teach me how to be a collective speaker. I speak to those that it fit to. Not everything that I say is gonna be nice and easy and pleasant. No, we've had enough of that shit. That's why we got what we got walking around here going through what we're going through. We've had enough of that. Sensitive feelings and that's over with. Should be. We have what we're dealing with right now in this country, with us not working together, with us not admitting the things that we need to correct. We don't say the things we need to say because we too damn busy worried about if we're going to hurt someone's feelings. The problem that I have is just like when if I challenge leadership and I tell you that leaders shouldn't really do it like that, I'm not going I know I'm not speaking to everybody. I'm only speaking to those that probably believe that their leaders are leading them in the right direction. And I can understand how someone would get offended or feel like, like, oh man, he shouldn't say that. I get it. I get it. Because, what is it? 80% of the world is our followers. I mean, we all believe in somebody. I mean, shit. We all believe that someone that we've always had a lot of confidence in. Have you ever other than myself, has anybody ever found out somebody that they believed in or that they looked up to wasn't all what you thought they were? You feel what I'm saying? Like I've had, my granny told me a long time ago, you may not want to meet your idols because you might end up not liking that person. And I've done it before. I've met celebrities or people that I looked up to. I don't even know if Denzel Washington is really a good guy. I don't know that. Would I like to meet Denzel? Yeah, probably. Would I have a real close heart-to-heart conversation with him? Probably not. You know what I would talk about? Projects, things that he's done. You know what I'm saying? Things that he's looked good in. Man, I remember school. I remember Fight the Power. I remember this movie. I remember that. That's what I would talk to Denzel about. I would talk to him maybe about the Boys and Girls Club. Hey, you grew up in the Boys and Girls Club? So did I. That's cool, bro. That's real cool. But would I really want to be his friend? I don't know. It might disturb how I feel about the guy. He might not be a good guy. He might be the greatest guy in the world. I don't know. But I learned a lesson a long time ago. Be careful who you cherish. Be careful who you look up to. They just might not be that person. Sierra and Tanika, thank you. I feel like I can say what I said to people that are mature like you all are. You know what I'm saying? I feel that I can say things like that because um, some people you can't disagree with, they'll just fall all the way off. You know what I'm saying? Oh, he thinks I know. No, I don't think you guys are like that, and I appreciate you guys being here. Sometimes challenging me, sometimes being on the same page, and sometimes not. But I will tell you too something. I've been here 5 years, 6 months, and I'll tell you that I've taken the hardest path that anybody who's doing what we're doing. I've taken the hardest path. The truth is the hardest thing to push on people that just don't really want to hear it. I mean, if it's almost like a child to me, I'm gonna give you this equivalent. A child that never wants to let go of Santa Claus. Some people believe that the information that they have is what the world is really about. They really believe that what's going on in this world, the way they've been taught, is what's really happening. And when you try to tell them, or when you don't even have to tell them, you could just show them a different route. Some don't even believe their own eyes. They only believe what's in the heart. And to me, it's no different than a bad relationship. How many women have ever loved a man that was a liar? You still loved him. He still had your heart, but he was deceptive. Everything he did was for his own good. He was a narcissist, right? He wasn't shit. How could you possibly love somebody like that? Because they caught you with your guard down and you were vulnerable. It's just like people who think a certain way. They got caught as a kid. They mamas and they daddies taught them how to believe this way. It ain't never about the law. Melissa Powers ain't no, she's not, she's a racist. She's a racist. That's why she came up with the. Let me ask you something. How many of you can compare a situation that Connie Pillage has gone through in her last 2 or 3 situations making decisions? How many of you guys could say that Melissa Powers had them same opportunities to prove herself as being a racist in your community? Name 3 incidents that she called and got wrong that made it look like unjust against black people in the city of Cincinnati when she was the prosecutor. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, I remember when she was on the bench, and I've said it plenty of times, and I know a lot of people didn't like what I said, but I got to tell my truth. She was on the bench for at least 12 or 13 years when I was in court working. I watched her be fair with people day in and day out. I watched her set. I watched her be very, and I'm talking about Melissa Powers. I watched her be very passionate with people where if she was a white racist, don't give a shit about nobody, if she was actually that person, she could have been cruel in the position that she was in. Never was she ever cruel. And I'll speak on that anytime. You can call me whatever you want to call me. Say I'm going to bat for whoever I'm going to bat for. I'm going to speak my truths. The lady was always compassionate. No matter what individual was in front of her. White, black, female, male. So now I asked you. Oh, Edward said, ran into Jimmy Rogers at the Lincoln Court and Laurel Home reunion. I wish I could have went to that. Y'all know I was in Columbus, Ohio, at my daughter's ceremony. Jimmy Rogers was another guy. That's Kathy Rogers' brother, y'all. I don't know, y'all probably don't care, but He ended up leaving a long time ago. He went to Milwaukee. I don't know if he still lives in Milwaukee. Maybe he does. Does he, Edward? EB, do he still live in Milwaukee? I remember when he left. Jimmy Rogers was the neighborhood funny man. He was the clown. You know what I mean? He was Jimmy Rogers is who gave everybody in our court. We all got our nickname from Jimmy Rogers. He named Cow Breath, Cabbage Head, Mellow Yellow. He was the dude. He was the big bro that gave every one of us our nickname down the way. That's what he did. He was like what I do in my little family, my little, family that I have, my extended family. I'm the nickname giver now, but back in those days, that's what he did. Anyway, so now I ask all those that was on the block of voting for prosecutor and all that old stuff. I asked you guys, I'm just posing the question. Did you get your votes worth out of Connie Pillage? Or do you really think that Connie Pillage, the prosecutor in Hamilton County, do you think she missed one with this situation? Do you think that she should have charged that man with a felony based on even what you've seen in the camera? Okay. Kind of goes back to what I was talking about way back then, for those that I have to remind sometime. And that is, sometimes I pay more attention to motivation. Like, what's your motivation? What's your reasoning for? I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, why do you want me to vote this way? I mean, why is the other person so bad? They're so bad that all you can do is talk about that person, but you can't say anything about your person. There's people on here right now that remember these conversations. And they thought what I was doing was trying to stop the focus, stop the bad talk of the other person. No. I used to say it, break it down to relationships. If you and your friend, you've heard this one before, you've heard this analogy. If you and your friend go out to dinner and she had an ex-boyfriend and she got a new boyfriend, but she keep talking about her ex-boyfriend and she don't talk about her new boyfriend all the time, what are you going to say? Damn, what's wrong with Roy? Roy is your new dude. You keep on talking about Phil. The hell going on with Phil? Phil is your new squeeze. Phil is your new guy. Why aren't you talking about Phil? Why you keep talking about Roy? Used to say that all the time. EB says, yeah, he talked a bit with his son that graduated from Marquette. Okay, that's good. That's good. I'm glad things worked out. Shit, Jimmy went to Milwaukee, never looked back. He would come home occasionally. Another one of them dudes that probably would have been in trouble in Cincinnati, probably would have fell under the same, think tank situation, blah, blah, blah. But Jimmy was a little bit more outgoing. He was a smart guy. Still, I'm sure he's probably a smart guy. Went out and experienced something other than law homes and never came back. That's when you know you're working with somebody. I very seldom meet anybody. And tell me if I'm wrong, and you tell me if this is you. Because if it's you, then I'm wrong in making this point. Most people that move away, they move somewhere that's totally different than where they were. And that's why they end up staying. I don't know anybody that moved from Cincinnati and land in another Cincinnati somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Like move from Cincinnati and go to Charlotte, and it's identical to Cincinnati. I'm not saying you can't make that mistake of moving somewhere and you get there and you find out, well, shit, this is just like home. This is just like what I left. Chances are you're probably going to move again. You're either going to go back to where you came from, or you're going to go to somewhere that's different from where you're from and where you ended up. You're going somewhere totally different. Those are my favorite people. My favorite people in this world are people that find their way to happiness, not try to fix the places that are wrong and bad for them. You got to also remember this, folks. I sound like a preacher a little bit. I don't mean to be. A lot of people who are in miserable situations, they need them to be miserable because that's the only place they really fit in. They don't have any answers. They're not in. They're not worth anything in a regular place. They're like, can you imagine what some of your leaders would be if they lived in a city that didn't have disorder or didn't have dysfunction? Who would they be? What would they have to offer? If they lived in a place where every day you woke up, it was sunshine, swimming pools, great air, money was being made, people wasn't, being, if shit was good, who would they be? And what would they be doing? What would they have to offer anybody? Especially if they are the catalyst. They're part of the problem. You got people out here that talk about how bad the police are, and they make it bad for the police to do their job. I just don't understand that shit. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life. It's like you make police so impatient that now when something happens, you didn't tip the patience of this police officer to the point where they like, oh, I'm tired of your ass. The police officer either let it just go and then they go down the street and hit somebody, or go down the street and something disruptive happens, and now more police have to come because of a situation, or you didn't got on this police officer's nerves so bad that now they end up doing something because they're human. They're human. And now you making them look crazy like they're some type of bad police officer, some bad cop. You know what I'm saying? And then that same individual will say, not that that bad police officer is bad, but police officers ain't shit. Same folks that'll watch a little black dude get in some trouble, and as soon as somebody say those black people, they the same ones that'll make that argument. That's that isolated individual. That's that one person. You can't call all black people bad like that one individual. That's how y'all do us. Y'all always trying to put us in a bucket. Listen, the majority of people on here right now, I can guarantee you one thing. A police officer never put his gun in your face. I can guarantee you one thing right now. The majority of people on here right now have never been falsely arrested by a police officer. I can tell you right now, most of you ain't never been shot at by a police officer. Maybe half of us have ever had a parking or a driving violation, something where you had to get picked up. You've been pulled over. Maybe half of us. But there's think tanks out here to make you believe because they see videos of that small percentage. That's the same percentile of situations that you see that you can call somebody either good or bad. And now we start living off those principles. Oh, this person, that whole group over there is bad. But that's the same people that say, we're not that bad. That was that individual. You know what I'm saying? It's just, you can't have it both ways. I've had this conversation before. You can't have it both ways. Trust me. Those that don't want to hear this, there's platforms that you can go to and you can get part 2 of your day. You can get part 2 of how shit is for us, and it ain't nothing of this. All I can tell you is this. If you want things to change in your life, change the things that you do. Change the people that you are with. Change the people that you listen to. Change circumstantial conversation. Change it. Stop listening to people who say the same shit over and over and over again. There's nothing. Look, all my entrepreneurs, raise your hand. If you're an entrepreneur, raise your hand right now. Unless you're driving down the street. If you're driving down the street, just be like, the worst person that you can ever put in your life, Mr. or Mrs. Entrepreneur, is a procrastinator. Procrastinators will never do what you plan on doing. And they will definitely slow you down from doing what you're going to do. And you know what else they're going to do? They're going to talk you out of doing what you want to do. They're going to turn you into a procrastinator because that's how they think. That's who they are. They don't know any better. They think failure is an option. They think failure is an option because they failed. And when they failed, they didn't keep going. You hear me, Tanika? They don't keep going. That's the only difference between you and Dolly Robertson. Dolly Robertson kept going. Tanika, you keep pushing your cakes and you'll have a different story to tell. You're at the beginning stages. I know it ain't perfect. I know it's not great, but these are the stages that you need to overcome what you're going to face when you are looking at 200 cakes a day, 300 cakes a day, 400 cakes a day. You better be right. You better be ready for it. And the only way you ever going to be ready for it is to go through what you're going through right now. Because if somebody gave, if you just came on Wyatt show and said, I'm doing cakes and here are my cakes, and you got an order for 400 cakes right now, you wouldn't know what to do with it. See what I'm saying? You wouldn't be able to fulfill a cake order right now for 400 cakes if they need them by this Friday. That'd be very difficult for you, wouldn't it? Maybe I'm talking out of pocket, but you said you're the only baker. I'm just using this as an example. My point is, we got to start at a certain place, and we work our way up. We work our way up. And in order to do that, you have to surround yourself around people that are not negative, that are not constantly telling you how things used to be, how it was, how it was. They look in the they always looking out the rear view mirror, babe. They're never looking out the front glass. When I first started Wyatt Live, the way I introduced this platform to everybody, I said this. Who can remember this if you were here? I started the show by saying this. Man, we about to have a clean slate, y'all. Now, what are they saying 5 years after COVID now? What are they saying right now? They are telling you what I've been said 2 years prior to COVID ending. I said, guess what, folks? It's about to be a brand new beginning. There's not going to be any excuses for those that don't make it. Those that don't make it will not try. I said there's going to be 150. This is going to sound like a dumbass number to some people because they can't see past go and collect $200. I said there's going to be $150 trillion available to the American people after COVID and after everything comes back to life. $150 trillion in an economy. 70% of Americans are consumers. 70% of us are consumers. How much of that $150 trillion do you think you can get? Y'all don't remember that conversation? No, of course not. There's some people who was here who remember that. There's some people who hearing that for the very first time. And instead of hearing that on Wyatt Live when it was available, they were talking about something different, hearing different things, keeping them in a certain mindset. It might be a little too late for them because they may not have already started something. You see what I'm saying? I told everybody to get something in their name, get a hustle. Remember that week, that first week? Remember that first month? I talked about it for the entire year. I said, we all have to get our name on something. I don't care what business you start. You better get you a business. If it's making $25 a week, get you something that people know you for. Remember that? Here we are in an economy. Here we are in a situation where technology allows you to be all you can be without even being seen. It's a fresh start. All those, I guess I should say it the way some need me to say it. No pun intended. All those folks who have all these excuses of I can't get this, I can't do that, they won't let me do this, they won't let me do that. Those are people that are under the spell of people that got the hustle from the government. The government is who they make their money off of. So they want you to stay victim so they can continue to get their hustle on off the government money. That's all that shit is, okay? That's all it is. That's why your leaders down there now hollering and screaming, so they'll stay in good spot for you. You know, hollering and screaming about felony versus misdemeanor. They trying to look relevant. They trying to look like they really care about your interest. You know, it's ridiculous to even see the shit. First, let me say this. I know this is gonna sound bad. This is make everybody hang up. I'm kind of tired anyway, so I can have a short day on the show. Let me just say this to you guys. I don't know who named that situation downtown a brawl, but you have brawls in a bar. Okay. You have brawls in a bar. Okay, let me, Mama Birch, answer this for me if you can, please. If Darnell, that's my brother, that's my big brother, I'm just using names. If Darnell come and punch me in my face and I lay down from him hitting me and he starts stomping me, did we just have a brawl? Was that a brawl? If, let's see here, Tanika, if you come over, it's just using names, just do what we do here. If you come over, slap me in the face and I fall down, I lose a tooth or something, and I'm down and you start kicking me. And then your husband come around the corner like, baby, what you doing? And he's like, he disrespected me. And y'all start beating my ass. Is this a brawl? I didn't get a hit in. I didn't hit you. I certainly didn't hit your husband. I'm just saying, y'all kicking my ass. I'm laying down on the ground and y'all stomping me out. Is this a brawl? I thought a brawl was a mutual combative situation. I thought a brawl was when a group of people were fighting and it was combative. I don't even think that's a fight, Mama Birch. I don't. Is it an argument? Let me use Donna here. Excuse me, Donna. She gonna get mad at me because I'm using her in a bad situation. I'm using her in a bad example, but I'm gonna do it anyway. Donna, you and I have a conversation and it start going south. And I say, no, what I'm saying is I like Taft over Withrow. And you like Withrow over Taft, but yet you got all this other shit to say of reasoning why, and you arguing, and now you're getting all heated and hollering. And I'm just sitting back and I ain't saying anything. I'm just saying, well, to be honest with you, Donna, I like Taft, man, because I grew up downtown. That's it. But you got all these other reasons, and you explaining, and you yelling, and you screaming, you spitting out your side of your mouth, and you arguing at me. But I'm not arguing at you. Now, are we having an argument? Because one side is arguing, screaming and hollering, making their point be known real loud, aggressively. Are we arguing or are you arguing? So everything that's named and titled and supposed to fit in this particular narrative, it's not always the truth. It's not always what they want it to be by title. We're not like, that's not an argument. So a brawl is somebody. Here's what I would say. When you look at the mugshot of the individuals that got charged, none of them looked like they were in a brawl. Not one of them, including the dude. Now, if y'all really want to know, the brother with the red shirt on, he didn't have a scratch on him. Okay? In his mugshot, he didn't have a scratch on him. But look at everybody that they calling victims. Everybody was beat the fuck up. That's not a sign of a brawl. They even discussed that in the court, second bond hearing. I kind of heard it. I didn't say anything. I didn't want to get all into everything about it. But brawl came from the media. Brawl came from the people that was trying to set a narrative to make it sound like it was a mutual combative type of situation. That was to lead you to believe the language that was coming up next. If I say that, I gotta find a man. I can't keep using these women. If I say me and Ron had a brawl, that means we was banging. That means we was hitting, we was tapping, we was touching, we was hitting each other. I got a scar, he got a scar. It's never a brawl if both teams aren't fighting. Let me ask y'all something. I heard that, sorry, Woodward Bulldogs. I heard y'all lost this weekend 72-0. In whose mind would say that was a brawl? Was that a brawl? Is that a brawl? No, I don't think so. You didn't score a touchdown. You probably did. You probably had very few first downs. You probably had no yards. You probably gave up way many sacks. It's an ass whooping. That's not a brawl. A brawl is a brawl is a barn burner. Okay, the score was 21-20, and it went in, 17-20. It went in overtime. It went into 4 overtimes, and we lost by a field goal. That's a brawl. That's a barn burner. That's a competitive situation. But what we've learned to do is adapt to whatever language people put out here for us, so it'll fit what they needed to fit next. What they have coming up. It's just crazy to me how we fall for that. And then here come the leaders. They set the stage for you to fall right into it. I'm going to say something that I'm probably going to regret, but I got to say it because it's true. I don't know how to say this without sounding arrogant. Ron Dula, I need your help, brother. I need people that understand that I'm not a evil man, but I got to say this, okay? If a lot of these people who do that type of stuff, those leaders, if they put as much effort into making their followers great versus making them sit stagnant in a certain mind frame, this world will be a way different place. If they really was putting the work in to make their people, their followers, great, this world will be a different place. Because I'm going to tell you something right now. Some people put more work into keeping people the same than they do making them winners. That sounds crazy, don't it? You ever heard of a hater? You ever heard somebody say, you ever heard this phrase? And it's true. It's true. You ever heard somebody say, you spend more time trying to hate on me than you spend on making yourself better? That's a common thing. I don't know if you guys know that. There's people out here that spend so much time trying to make other people look so bad that they spend more energy and more time on focusing on how you doing and how fucked up you are than they spend on themselves to get better. There are people placed in your life right now that want you to think that everything is against you. And the reason why shit happened like that is because it was orchestrated. It was an ambush. This was that. This is that. They got all these explanations and they make everything so conducive to a mindset that you can't help but think the shit is against you. You know who do shit like that? I mean, I'm just going to be honest. If you really do a deep dive in who functions like that, do you know that's how cults function? Do you know that's how leaders of cults end up getting people that y'all would look back on and be like, man, them motherfuckers crazy. Ain't nobody never had me like that. You might want to reconsider. Nobody has you like that. I find it hard to believe that a lot of people believe they can't be led when 80% of the world are followers. What the fuck? You think you part of the 20 percentile? How could you think that you part of 20 percentile when you argue against 10%? You're part of the 90 percentile of thinking a certain way, and you're mad at the person that's a 10 percenter. How logically it makes no sense that you're not part of something that thinks a certain way. I mean, think about that. Most people that call me a coon, no. That's just the opposite. Brenda Burt, see, this is what I'm saying. Sometimes I have to correct things, and then when you correct them, because it don't fit in the narrative, now you seem like you're part of that program or whatever they want you to think is bad. It's hard to say MAGA because MAGA is half of the United States, right? Okay, it's not 90% of America. It's not 80% of America. Isn't it more like 60%? So that doesn't fit into what I was talking about at all. That's just your way of seeing things when things get out of pocket for you. That's why when I say certain things, it's not reasonable to some people. So they go straight to the card of, oh, he's a Trumpster, or he's a coon, or he's a, all this old other shit, your triggers, the things that you need to feel a small micro victory. That's what it is. For me, it's not any of that. For me, it's how do we win together? All I can say to you is this. I watch how leadership rolls. You ain't have to be with me. You don't have to believe it. None of that. When I see leadership pushing false narratives, when I see leadership having their followers focus on all the wrong things, then I know what I'm dealing with. Now, I'm not suggesting that I can fix that. I'm not even here to fix it. I'm not here to fix it. I'm here to call it out. But now let me ask you something. Even with our children, let's use something that we love. Because it's hard to walk away from something that you love. It's hard to tell somebody that you love, well, all right, then do it your way. That's a hard thing to do. But even with your kids, you can't convince them everything that you know is right is right. They'll never believe everything. I'm dealing with that shit right now with my youngest. Can't tell a shit. So I have to walk away sometime and be like, okay, you got it. I understand. So I've never started this. I've never been on this program trying to convince you to think different, vote different, this and this and that. I just give you different options, different ways of seeing things, and let you see some of the things that I see. And I just, I can't change your mind. I can't change my kids' mind. Once their mind is made up, it's made up. But don't think, just like my child, don't think that when it come out to be the way I told you it was going to be, don't think I ain't going to say something. Now, I might not rub it all the way in, but I'm going to say something, just like I did with the Connie Pillits analogy today. Just like I told you, y'all always focused on the negative of somebody that you don't want, but you never talk about the person that you're going to vote for, and you never talk about how good they are. You never tell us why we should take this person. You just tell us why we shouldn't have the other person. And then when you end up with the person that you get, you don't have any explanations of why they made the decisions that they made, clearly because you didn't really know them. It didn't matter who they were. And you're not even smart enough at the beginning to even analyze it that way. You just know somebody got me thinking bad about that person, so it must be true. I don't have to know anything about this person. Fuck that. Everybody's saying that, so that must be true. That's what I was saying. Let me go to the phone lines, man. We got people holding. I appreciate them calling and holding and all of that. Good afternoon, caller. This is Wyatt. Who am I speaking with? Hello, caller. Uh-oh, I think caller fell asleep on the phone. Let me see. Let me just make sure I got this thing going on the right way. Good afternoon, caller. This is Wyatt. Who am I speaking with? Caller once. I know they on there because I can hear something in the background. He just may be away from the phone. Caller once. Caller twice. Caller 3 times. You're on a delay. You're gonna have to call back. Talk to you later. Person that was waiting, feel free to call back in. Maybe I'll start talking about something they didn't want to talk about that. I don't know. That all being said, I've never been here to try to change anybody's mind. But when you talk about some things that I know a little bit about, I'm going to give you the information that you need. Now, Donna, let me ask you, because you've been here. Do you remember 2-3 weeks ago when I told you they're not going to be happy when they charge this man for what they charged him with? Do you remember that, Donna? You remember when I told you, I said, what y'all want them to do? Just charge him? And that'll shut everything up? Y'all be happy if you give him some charges? And I said, well, if they really want to charge him, all city council, all your mayor got to do is go to the solicitor office. They going to give him, they can charge him a misdemeanor. But y'all not going to be happy about that. And then your leaders going to dust off their boots and dust off their signs, and they're going to hit the streets about how shit is unjust in the city of Cincinnati, and Cincinnati is racist and this all this other shit. Cincinnati's racist with a Democrat prosecutor. Remember that? But wasn't Melissa Powers racist? Did anybody ask any questions of Connie Pillage when she was running? Or she was one of the good white folk, right? She was better than the other white folks. We got to pick our poison. That bullshit kills me when we got to pick our poison. We got to pick our poison. No, you don't. And it was racist that Fanon Rucker didn't win. What the fuck? Y'all just, I mean, I've never dealt with such confusion and shit that always have an explanation that fits whatever you need it to be. That has to be a miserable way of living. Let me go to the phone lines. Good afternoon, caller. This is Wyatt. Who am I speaking with? Uh-oh, let me cut you up. My apologies. Can you hear me, caller?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, what's going on? Twin, what's happening, bro?
I can't call it, player. You know, congratulations to your daughter, man.
Thank you, brother.
And man, I didn't know. My condolences to Zakia.
Who?
She's Zakia. She's a regular call on the Lincoln Ware show. I gave her a chance to meet her last year.
I know.
It was white, and I heard about it in the chat.
I'm sorry to hear about anybody
losing
their life, but I don't know who that is. But whoever.
She probably the one that used to. She the one that's always call and say "Paw" to Lincoln Ware. How you doing, Paw? You know, got a baby voice, a Michelle A type voice. But
okay, you got me there, brother.
It's sad, but you know, part of life or whatever. You know, we born here. Most of us go have an out date or whatever.
We all got one of those checkout dates. It's coming.
Yeah.
What's on your mind, though, twin? What's happening, bro?
No, I'm just listening, man. I had a good weekend. Had to work.
You did?
And everything. Yeah, I had to work this weekend. So, you know, got that out the way. And, you know, I had a good weekend besides that. And I can't complain.
Okay.
You know, had a chance today to talk to my guy, Wyatt, today.
All right. Let's get it in.
Woke up this morning, activity using my limbs, and thanking God for another day. You know?
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, man, I just need some help, Wyatt. This boy, man, climbing on tables and all this like a monkey, man. I can't handle it.
Your son?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, bro. How old is he?
He's 1. He'll be 2, Lord's will, in December.
Yeah, them terrible twos is a real thing.
Man, he acts like he's fat, man. I feel like, even though I'm a granddad, I feel like an extra granddad.
Oh, this is a grandson? Or is this your child?
No. Okay. I have a grandson, but I feel like I'm another. I got another grandson.
I got you. I'm with you.
But he cool. He just excites me. You know, they keep me motivated. Okay. Wyatt, when you say y'all, you have to break it down dummy terms. When you say y'all, no disrespect, I ain't calling nobody no dummy. I ain't that type of person. But when you say y'all, basically saying you get what you asked for, and you voted for them people. So y'all is in a mix of y'all. So how people take it, like, why you got to say y'all or whatever in the chat? But I took it as y'all.
Well, let me ask you something. Do you think I'm talking about you when I say y'all, when I say something about like Connie Pillage or somebody?
No, you really break it down as if y'all got what y'all want and y'all got everybody in place. And y'all wanted this to happen because Joe Dita and Melissa Powell. Now that y'all got people in place and everything, hey, this is the thanks y'all get. You going down there tomorrow to go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, and they know who they are.
Yeah, man. So I look at it, man. Y'all is, you know, because I'm part of y'all because you know why? I can admit to it and take accountability of it that I voted for her.
Okay.
So when you say y'all, I'm not gonna say hell. Why would you keep on saying y'all for? Because I'm part of that y'all. I just didn't go down, take my sleigh down, straight Democrats.
Well, now let me ask you a question. Because you openly admitted that you voted for Connie Pillage, right? And I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem with Connie Pillage because I understand what's going on here. So it's not like I have a dog in the fight with, like, I'm just trying to prove a point in another direction. But now let me ask you something, twin. You probably had heard a whole lot of different things about Joe Dieters and Melissa Powers and whoever else,
for years, why I
Fanon
put the
Rucker.
years on it.
Exactly. I mean, all I'm saying to you is this: what did you learn about Connie Pillage before she was elected prosecutor? What did you learn about her? What did you know about her?
I knew that she was as a Democrat, and she was a judge, I think. I want to say, and I was like, and people
but what
were
kind
talking
of cases,
about her, and I'm like, okay,
what way did she steer in the community that made you feel comfortable about? What is it that she had done that made you feel like she was going to be for the right thing?
When she was talking on the commercials and her fan base or whatever she was saying, I'm like, she can, change, and she can stand a great cause for the people with which I was hearing stories about Joe Dieters. He kept playing the Hamilton County people and Cincinnati people, whole stories about him. Then his partner, Melissa Powell, I'm like, ain't no way I'm voting for her.
Right.
She under the same token as Joe Dieter. Right. And Joe Dieter, and when I saw him play that case with Sam DeBose and all that and other people in Cincinnati, I was like, oh man, that dude is straight redneck for real.
Right.
You talking about racist? Y'all want to play the race card? That's a racist right there.
Right. So
he don't give a damn about no Negroes in Cincinnati.
So you were taught that if Joe Dieters was that way, Melissa Powers is like that too, because
she come under the same wings.
But now let me ask you this. I'm just making, what did Melissa Powers do as a prosecutor that make you feel that way?
I really didn't know Melissa Powers like that.
Exactly.
But I study Joe Dieter. But under her, they say what, two birds flock together, something like that.
That's what always runs in that's the problem right there. What they say is always the major. That's the really common denominator of why people continuously get what they get, is that because it's never really about the truth. It's what they say. The world is a rumor mill. And the worst thing we have going on for in our lives right now is social media, because social media has been somewhat of a steroid of what they say, a steroid of misinformation.
Normally, if you run around the same person, the spirits go off on you too. Okay. Me and you cool and everything. We did our thing, killing, murdering, everything else. Most likely, twin with Wyatt, and everybody know Wyatt. Well, that's a bad combination. Twin, get away from him.
I hear you, and I'm like that. I pay attention to people's circles. I talk about that all the time. Mm-hmm. You're absolutely correct. But when you're talking about something, and I can see where you're coming from, but you're talking about people that see crime the same. So you're equating that as being, okay, if Joe Dieters is tough on crime, Melissa Powers must be tough on crime, and she's going to be bad on black people. That's what you're getting out of that, right? Because of how you were taught that Joe Dieters was, right?
If she coming under the same wings and he schooled on that thing, yes. Okay. I'm gonna believe she gonna be on the same dummy mission as him.
Okay, and see, that's a taught behavior. You're taught to think that way. You didn't go out and get any information.
It's the same thing. Just like you think about Obama. Right. Look, let me bring him up. Okay. You think about Obama.
Okay.
Him and Kamal, they were singing the same tune, man. They were singing the same tune. So why would even though I tried it with him, why would you think I'm gonna try with her?
Well,
and
no,
they singing the same tune.
I don't agree. I don't agree with that. I think Obama, who I voted for, I did too. I thought Obama was way more
soft.
No, I think that he was well more flamboyant. He was more outgoing. He knew how to deliver a message that was believable, whether he was going to do it or not. I'm just saying, he was at the right time, at the right place. All of that. It was just about timing. Everything was perfect for him, okay? I think he was the most, in years, I had never seen anyone like Obama hit the United States as being fan favorite. Okay, he didn't say anything different in what he thought about the world, and meaning in the United States. He didn't say anything different than a lot of people had already been saying, and he didn't say anything back then that they're not saying today. If you look at his policies on immigration, it's no different.
He kept that same energy. Well, before Obama was president, when he was senator in Illinois, he same thing he brought to the table as president. he was keeping that same energy. He talked just like he talking now,
Well, I
or
think
whatever.
yeah, okay, but there's no doubt in my mind
Go ahead.
the recipients of Obama's policies were not black folks. It was everybody. I wouldn't say everybody, but it was more people than black folks. The LGBT community got rewarded with him.
Asian,
Yeah,
but
a
nigga
lot
like
of
me
people.
didn't get no
So
rights.
so it goes back to here we are proud to have a representative that actually did very little for us. Okay, and that's just the truth of the matter. What I like Obama, but that don't mean that he served me the way I needed to be served as an
He didn't,
American.
because I voted for him too, Wyatt.
And,
I two
but
things.
now let me just say this
Because
to you. Let me
go
say
ahead.
this, and I promise I'll let you finish, because I don't want to lose my thought of where I
I'm
was.
sorry. I'm sorry. Go
the
ahead.
The policies were never what I was expecting out of Obama. I got out of Obama what I got out of Obama, and I made it very clear 5 years ago when I brought it up for the very first time. I said I voted for him because he looked like me. I'm openly telling everybody that I voted for
Mm-hmm.
him because he was a family man. He was a black man. He had a black wife. He had 2 black daughters. He reminded me of myself, and I wanted his picture on my wall in my office. You see what I'm saying? He was the first president I've ever put up in any of my offices. Okay, and that's what I wanted. I'm honest enough to tell you that it was not about policy. It was about representation for me with him. It made me have someone to look up on the wall and show my clients and be able to tell and say to people on podcasts, we can do anything. If we can be president of the United States, there's nothing in this country that can stop us from doing what we really want to do. That was my reason of having Obama. I don't know what
Right.
everybody else's was, because I knew he wasn't going to stop the train and say, I got some shit for the black folks. I knew he wasn't going to do that.
Oh no, no, no. But that's the reason why I voted for him, because to be the first black president of our era. And then I thought he was gonna flip Chicago, man. Whatever. We talking about National Guards 8, 10 years now, when we could have been here them in Chicago.
Okay.
When that drill music and all that, King Von and all them started gang banging heavy, a lot of people came up missing and everything else.
Okay.
So we talking about a National Guard right now, which I don't know what Trump, he wish he was. That man sent him in there, maybe he won't send him in there. But it's up to Mayor Johnson to accept his invitation
Well,
to send him to Chicago.
what do you think about that?
Well,
What do you
I
think?
don't think, man. I don't know. He's sometimes. I don't know if they unpredictable, man.
Okay, let's
He's an
take Trump out
unpredictable
of it.
president. I don't know about what he go do.
Let's take Trump out of the equation of.
I don't think would Johnson accept. I don't. Will take Trump out? No, I don't think it'd be done. No.
Well, now what is that
You send
saying?
them to Memphis as one like or like that, but Chicago on the movement, man. It's a movement.
Okay,
Stay on, and you're not about to stop it, man.
So what is that saying about your people? If I'm the mayor of a city that has a high crime rate, if I'm Chirac, and I turn around and I say, well, Twin says he has this private security company that he runs, that's he's willing to bring them into my city and help us with our crime. What am I saying to my people if I allow the crime to continue and I'm not really trying to help those folks? What is that saying to my people?
Probably saying that, hey, trust you can trust me. Twin got a nice firm or whatever. He can help us or whatever.
No, if I turn it down, what am I saying to the people that would be saved by Twins Company and your actions? What am I saying to the people of Chicago if I'm the leader and I'm being stubborn and I just hey, we've been doing it the way we've been doing it, and we've been having 543 murders a year. Oh
You
well,
probably just I don't know, lying to the people or something.
I would think that there's an agenda there. I would think that some people want it to be that way because there's an agenda. There's something that makes it that way because it's supposed to be that way. And that's probably, still haven't to this day got a question that I ask answered from my people. I've asked my people this for 5 years. Why is it that black people have stood stagnant in this country on our population? Why have we stood stagnant? Nobody can answer that. Stop talking about what white people doing to us, because they're not the leaders of murdering us. They're not the leaders of saying yes and no to us. I need somebody to tell me, why are we, all other races in this country, their population stats have gone up. All. And I don't mean like, okay, you're going to have some Cambodian, you're going to have certain races that have never really hit the chart, have always been not even 1% of America. So let's not use them. Let's just use the major cultures in America. How is it that American black folks have stood stagnant since the 60s, but everybody else has climbed high? How is it that Latinos have doubled our population? What are they doing that we're not doing? You
I
feel me?
don't
Like,
think we have a strong. We have it, but they want to keep us in the. I don't know, keep us in a corner,
see,
going against one another. We don't. They know as leaders,
but
strong leader from the NAACP and all those civil rights movement, all those. They know, but they don't want. They want us to keep going against each other, man. But it's
well,
up to us and self to
but
control it.
what is the going against each other, twin? What is what? Okay, I hear you. I don't disagree with you, but I need you to be a little bit more specific. What is the going against one another thing? When you
They
say,
want to they want to feel like, hey man, you can't do this, you can't do this. The white man just hold you down. They
that's
want
not
to
us
keep
go,
that
that's not
inbred
us,
in you as a race base.
but that's
But they
not,
want to keep on keeping us like we enslaved. And
but
you can't keep that mentality on nobody. You victimizing the situation instead of making your agenda and push it.
but
How
twin,
you gonna keep on telling me I can't do this?
but
Basically saying I
twin,
can't do this, I can't do that.
but
That's why you
twin,
have self-control over your own self.
but
Think
twin,
for yourself.
twin.
Don't depend on man. Go ahead.
What you just described, Playboy, was us versus them. I'm talking about the divide within the divide within us. Why? Who is making us go against each other? Not
Ourselves.
us
It's
versus
our own
them.
self towards each other, jealousy and envy towards our own people.
Well,
For what?
well,
It's just
how
it's
does
self-control of your own self.
no?
Me against white.
But why?
Okay,
Okay,
white got this
okay,
firm
so
whatever.
why
They
aren't
don't like that,
okay?
huh?
So I hear you. So why aren't Latinos like that? Why aren't
Be-
Asians like that?
Because they work together as one.
Okay, so how do they do that? What
As
makes them better at doing stuff like that than us? Is it a fair question?
No, you're right. You're right. They not no more better than we are. It just we as people just as our own race base that we just can't come together. It's about jealousy, man. You don't want that. You feel like I'm taking more than what it's supposed to be. But I'm trying to even it out with. But you say I got 50 cents more. When I'm trying to tell you I got the same as you.
I can
But
tell
now
you.
we got to argue because I got 50 cents more.
Okay.
Come on, man. You ain't
Okay.
put the work in like
Well,
I did.
Here's the thing. I'm going to tell you a little bit. I'm going to give you my idea. Okay.
Go
And
ahead.
I'll share my principles, my idea of what's going on. The reason being is because there are people who are doing other people's bidding for them and doing their work. And they use black folks to do this. You could never have like white folks don't do that to one another. Asians don't do that to one another. And certainly Latinos don't do that. They don't have politicians or preachers in their lives that keep them stagnant. They don't have people in their lives that make them believe that the way that it is just the way that it is. They have people in their lives that think different and think, like progress. We have people that feel like in order to be somebody in your life, twin, they have to explain the excuse of your indifferences, of your faults. They have to make you believe that the drugs was dropped in the community by the CIA, and it's the CIA problem that you and I smoke crack. That's my fault. That if the CIA would have never put that drug in my community, then I would have never started smoking crack, which sounds dumb to me. That sounds ridiculous to me. The reason why our women are on welfare is because our women, like it's only our women, are the only ones who got on welfare and chose welfare over men, over the man. They chose the money over the man. Though. It's not true.
They dismantled the whole situation
who taught
marrying
you that?
The government and selling their kids off. Brenda got a baby.
Okay, let me ask you something. I'm gonna pose this question to all my ladies in the audience because this is something that women can only answer. A man can't really answer this unless he's been told by a woman to his face that she chose the government money over him. Ladies, any lady in the audience out here willing to say by the raise of hands or a thumb up, did you choose welfare over your baby daddy? Did you choose welfare as a woman over a man? In other words,
Why are you talking about us age? You ain't talking about grandma and them age, Wyatt. Your mom's them age. You talking about us age, Wyatt.
well,
Stop
they
it.
still have welfare, right?
No, ain't nobody on here no welfare, man. Stop
Say
it, Wyatt.
Say what?
But there ain't nobody on no welfare in this chat right now.
You don't think so?
No, I'm pretty sure no.
You don't think that there's people that get
on this chat? I said on the chat.
Oh, I'm talking about on the platform. I don't know who in the chat. I can't see everybody that's
on
in the
platform. Chat. No, I don't think nobody on welfare on the platform.
All I can
tell
you is this.
So. Back then probably, but now no.
Well, I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna step out on the Linda, help me out real quick. Linda Evans. I'm gonna step out on a land.
And you know the Italians dropped the drugs off in the community, man. That's how it starts.
Say it again.
The Italians dropped the drugs off in the community.
The Italians or CIA?
CIA got revenue. Hey, we can do this. They funded, the Bush and Reagan got funded. They took the dope money and funded the war with it, man.
I understand all of that.
How you think they got the money off the drug pushers, man? Well, they set it up. Hey, this how we can do it. Hey, what you mean? This how we can do it, Reagan. And it started from Hoover, then it passed down. Hey, we can get them like this. Plant the drug. And no, it was straight cocaine. Then they broke it down to dummy bag.
Okay, I hear all of that. I hear all of that. I know that's the story. I know a lot of myths that sound like reality.
This is real. Okay, coming out of Chicago, this is real. Okay, what I know.
So the plug was the government.
I've been knowing about this for a short. Like I was shorty.
But now let me use this example that I
use,
twin. And I love you. I got love for you, bro, because you're passionate
about
everything.
Man, this your platform.
But no. I just want to let you know, like, this ain't gonna taste good when I say it. All right, just all I'm gonna say to you is this: it's still not an excuse of why we ended up doing drugs from dealing and from being users. Look, I use two examples. Hear me out on this, twin. I raised my children where if you dropped a kilo of cocaine in their bedroom, they wouldn't know what to do with it. Okay, they wouldn't know who to take it to get whatever they getting out on the street for it these days. They wouldn't know what to do with it, right? So it's always about how you raise your family to what your kids are attracted to, what they're able, what they know, what they'll get into. The risk they'll take comes from the parent. Okay, that's how I see it. I see that risk assessment is always, you look at a parent for the risk assessment in their children. That's how I see it. Now, I could be wrong. Here's the other thing I'll use. I'll use Detroit, Michigan as a perfect example where BMF grew up. Okay, I'll use them as an example. They did not drop drugs in Detroit because they knew that drug addicts would just end black people. They didn't do it like that. What happened was this: most people that were on drugs in those cities were very well-paid individuals. Did you know that?
Of course.
They worked at the factories, right? They had jobs working for Ford, GM, and all this other, the manufacturers. It wasn't just the Ford plants. It was little small businesses that had business that did business with those factories. All right. They had really good jobs. And what happened is when that industry crashed and all those jobs went overseas, you had a bunch of brothers and sisters and people, white people, black people, a lot of people lost their jobs because the factories closed, but they still had dope habits. Nobody forced them to do dope. They was doing drugs because they could afford it. It was fun. CIA didn't drop drugs in the community talking about, here, take this, do this. These are people that were already getting high, having fun, making $20 an hour back in the 70s, bro, 80s. They had been getting high off cocaine for years. Okay, I'm not saying everybody. I'm saying that these were people who were already indulging in that type of behavior. And then here come another culture, and they started the crack epidemic. Crack was not dropped in our neighborhoods and just people just start smoking. Most crack addicts came from being cocaine heads already. Okay, they were already.
They showed them how to whip it and stuff.
That's exactly what happened. So all these little narratives.
Look, that's how you get the.
So all this shit about and now let me ask you something. Anybody in this chat who is dumb enough to just be walking around your city with no job, no way of paying for an expensive habit, and just start smoking drugs? Who do that if you're not already indulging in drugs? Who do that type of shit? You trying to make me believe that we're dumb as a people. See, I don't like all these myths and shit that, and the reason why the myth makes a lot of sense, because it's been repeated over and over and over again, and it's an excuse for someone's actions. It's not taking accountability, because nobody could tell me that I'm a drug addict because somebody just happened to drop drugs in my community. I still had a ton of choices in life. I didn't have to do drugs. I didn't have to sell drugs. I still had, and the majority of us didn't. So to just, if using the principles or the logic of that argument, we all supposed to be dope fiends if we that dumb.
That ain't no myth though. Like,
It
say for instance,
is.
you got them damn, say Retro 4. Man, you get the only one on the block got the Retro 4. This your brand that you made. So in order for me, I got the Retro 4. I'm staying in Cincinnati. How can I move these other Retro 4s I'm coming out tomorrow? I gotta go to Dayton. I gotta go to Inglewood. I gotta go to Avondale, something like that. Now they spread. So don't tell me that the CIA didn't do what they said they did. Because they did.
Okay.
That's how they did it, man. They dropped it off. Hey, how you think you can get this cocaine?
Okay,
spread it to the black community. Matter of fact, Cookie, hey, spread to do some land. Oh, matter of fact, we can do it better. Hey, cook it up. Now we got rock form. Matter of fact, I ain't got no money. Put some fentanyl on.
I'm gonna ask you a question.
Come on, man.
I'm gonna ask you a question.
Come on, Wyatt.
Hold on. First, I'm gonna make a statement, then I'm gonna ask you a question. Okay. My statement to you is, no, I'm gonna ask the question first, if you don't mind. I'm not trying to offend you, and I don't want you to get in a position of being offended, because I know you keep shit real. So I need you to answer this honestly, so people will know how the game was. Okay, this, because I trust that you know, because I can hear that you know from all these conversations. Twin, let me ask you something. When you were in the game, okay, we're gonna go way back. Okay, just to keep things. When you were in the game, did you ever hook somebody on drugs, or did you have a clientele that was already there? They were already smoking, doing what they was doing. Did you ever hook somebody on drugs?
I can't steal you.
I'm just asking, bro. And the reason why I know the answer,
I know the answer. You already know, player.
Wait. Okay, answer.
I came from the crack era, so it's already invented in them.
Okay,
so I ain't hooked nobody up. It was your choice. You wanted, I ain't tell you
how I know the answer to that. How I know the answer to that is because of your attitude towards drug selling. You believe in your mind, and like most people do, hey, I got something that people want. I didn't make them take this. I didn't make them buy it.
No.
I got something that they want, right? That's your attitude towards it, right?
I'm part of that era, though, right? So,
no, you're the
what
person.
Are you talking about? I get a pass, Pat.
No, I hear you. What I'm saying to you, twin, is this. You didn't hook anybody on drugs, bro.
No.
You was, and I'm not, bro, that don't make you my favorite guy. No shit like that. I'm just saying, like, it was already in place. Okay? Yeah. And all I'm saying to you is, most people, now I'm not saying all, the majority, the high majority of folks that ended up doing drugs, they did it by choice. Nobody addicted them. It came from peer pressure. It came from having a good job, all of that shit. So how does it make sense that somebody was able to come in here with a barrel of drugs and just get everybody addicted to it? And that's how they end up putting us on drugs, because they put it in front of us. That don't equate.
It does make a lot of sense, just like I just described it. You got Retro 4. How can I jump them off in Dayton? How can I jump them off Avondale?
Here's the answer. Here's the answer to that.
To make my product blow up.
Here's the answer.
And that's what it happens.
Here's the answer.
You blow up, and then if it don't go good, now you got a drill.
Now let me ask you something, twin.
Yeah.
You work at Kroger now, right?
Yeah.
So you understand retail. Now, what is there a particular area in Kroger you work? Do y'all constantly, like, they brought you in to do like a particular area? Like, do you do the deli?
I'm a night leader, man.
Okay.
I got like 7-8 people under me control.
Okay, so now let me ask you, what is your number one product that you sell to that's under the people that you work with? I mean, y'all have a particular thing that y'all sell. What is the number one thing that y'all sell? Is it milk or something?
I don't work in. If you say what we sell, you have to go with eggs and milk.
Okay, let's say eggs. Let's just use eggs. So now, if tomorrow lands and y'all have a shelf full of eggs, and you're wondering why aren't we selling eggs, you would go to probably a project manager and ask the question, should we discount our eggs? What's going on? Is there a problem with eggs in society? Are we missing something? Basically, what I'm trying to tell you is your products only move by demand, right? If there's an issue out there, if there's bad words, or if they're too expensive, or if people are just simply not interested, your products will not move at Kroger. If it's sitting on the shelf, it must be a reason, right? So my point is this. Just because you have a bunch of dope that was free and it came from the CIA, okay, if it came from the Mexicans or wherever it came from, does not necessarily mean that there's an audience for it just because it's there. Do you understand what I'm saying? So what I'm saying to you is nobody made us do.
If that's your food choice or your product or whatever that you want to buy, then it's a movement and demand on it. Other than that, it's up to you as a consumer or whatever you want to put it down, clucker, to buy my product.
There you go.
Whether it's how low, I can put a discount on it.
There you go.
I got these rocks going for 2 for $10 on a holiday. I mean, on a holiday or Sunday or something like that. I used to have them for 20. I mean, 30.
Let me just say this to you when you start doing the discounts and all those formulas. Let me just say this to you. No. Let me just tell you what I do. You can. I wouldn't buy one crack rock if it came with 15. I don't care how good the deal is. I'm not smoking dope because it's dope. You see, the product is only good as its consumer. It's a supply and demand. If there's no demand for the product, it won't succeed. So if you don't have a demand for crack cocaine or cocaine, then it won't succeed. I don't care what the price is. Do you understand what I'm saying? So you had to build an audience for this product to be successful. So how are we going to sit back and say somebody put that out there? What did they do? Did they create an audience? No, they didn't do that, bro. So I don't understand.
Why come they ain't create an audience?
Say it again.
You got people. Why they ain't create an audience then? Why you say that?
Well, because I think the audience was already there. I'm not
if
saying
you
that.
Say so, man. Black folks weren't smoking no dope or cocaine.
Yes, they were.
The white man introduced them to that.
Okay.
Stop playing, man.
Wait a minute, hold on.
Stop playing. Let me tell you, introduce the damn niggas to that, man. Stop playing.
Okay, maybe so.
Hey, Jimmy Hendrix, all them was just they was normal, man. The white folk like, man, this can boost your energy and keep your adrenaline going on the singing. Here,
twin,
take this before you go on stage.
Hey, twin,
Come on, Wyatt.
Twin, I'm a real estate guy, okay? I do commercial real estate. Let me ask you a question. I know you have a 401k. I know you've pretty much done pretty good for yourself being at Kroger's for so many years.
Hell yeah, them stocks good.
Okay, now let me ask you a question. If I have a piece of beachfront property in Phoenix, Arizona that I can give you right now, and let's just say I'm just gonna use off the top of my head what I think it's worth $3.2 million. Okay, You hear me? Listen to me closely. A beachfront piece of property in Arizona, it's valued at $3.2 million. And all I want you to do is give me $60,000 of your 401k. Would you give it to me for that property out there?
You think I won't?
You would, wouldn't you? And you would do that because of what reason? Because I know real estate, right?
Yeah.
And do you trust me enough to do it sight unseen? Like, I don't care. Even if it's worth $3.2 million, you can get 3.2. Even if you got to take 300, if you got to take 3 million, you'd take it for 60,000, right?
Yeah.
And you just signed over your whole 401k to me to a piece of property that don't exist because there's no beach property in Phoenix, Arizona.
I would have to do my study and research.
No. You didn't already say
you jump the gun on it.
No. That's what people do. People jump the gun because when things are too good to be true, they don't even think it all the way out.
That's a lie. I don't believe that. It's like a science project. You got to see it go work. Stop it, man. Stop. I'm just ain't gonna put this in there, take this back, cocaine and all that. You don't know what's up in there until you try it or see it. Just ain't gonna give you my 401k because it look good on paper and all that. I gotta see what it really worth. I gotta do my homework on. I'm not no goofy out here.
Well, why didn't you say all of that before you committed?
You just told me. I mean, I had to think about it.
Oh, you thought about it after I told you to scam them,
yeah,
right?
You ain't showed me you showed me the scam. You told me to scam.
A lot of people don't do that, twin. I trust that you would look into it after you didn't got schemed or scammed. I trust that. But a lot of people fall for shit like what I just said, but they fall for it in different ways, bro. This was just an example that I wanted to give to somebody that I'm sure the audience know what I'm doing here. I'm basically showing you how things work when you
I
hear
understand
things
what your concept of.
when you hear things like mamas took welfare over black men. If I'm a black woman, I'm totally offended at that. I'm totally fucking offended at hearing, oh, so you think that I took welfare, especially if I was a woman that raised 2 or 3 sons on my own, and maybe I had 2, 3, maybe I had 2 baby fathers. I don't know. I would be so offended if somebody told me that I married the government instead of the man. You trying to tell me that man had no accountability? Like, you think that I'm just that kind of person that I would make? And see, as a whole, we should really be offended like that. And the reason why it got away is because the people that delivered those messages and those myths to us. It's just like people who think how slavery got here. It's the same folks that don't think that black folks sold black folks into slavery. They think white folks, it's because of roots. You
That's
believe
why
a
we can't
mythical
get
book.
reparations.
What? Say it again.
That's why they can't get reparations, because it was part of the black folks sold off too. So how you go ask for reparations when your own people was part of it?
Because if you have a real conversation, the first place we should go get reparation money from is Africa. And if you go to Africa, they know it ain't gonna happen, because Africans don't really fuck with us like that. And here's the other thing: the same government that you bitching and complaining about here in America is funding a lot of the things over in Africa that are still considered to be slavery. So it's like one of them things. Like, here's the thing. Here's where a lot of us get mixed up, bro. I'm gonna say this one last thing. I promise you about this.
No, you good.
California, these are your leaders out in California making black folks believe they had reparations coming. They wanted certain people in place and making certain people look relevant. California was a state back in the day that didn't have slaves, didn't have slave owners, didn't have any farmland to do any of the things that slaves were doing. And they sat back and convinced black folks that they were about to get reparations out in California that didn't have anything that deserved reparations. See, that's what's wrong with your leaders. Your leaders lead by false narratives. They want you to vote for them and do shit and play like they on your team, and they spinning wheels and stuck in neutral all the time. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah. And I don't know why people fall for shit like that. So in order for them to look relevant and look like they really on your side, they always got to look like they fighting for you, even if it's nonsensical, even if it don't make any fucking sense. They fighting for you. Just like why they gonna be fighting for this dude, them guys that went down there and beat the shit out of those people. They gonna make it say it ain't about those dudes beat the shit out of anybody anymore. It ain't about somebody kicking somebody in the head and knocking them unconscious. It's not about that anymore. It's about justice for the black people. This is bullshit, bro. This is the same playbook. And it was just a matter of time before something like this came up, so they would dust themselves off and come out and look like Martin Luther King and shit, walking down the street marching about some shit that ain't really about nothing. And it's crazy because you need somebody as a leader that's more powerful than that. Leaders put you in positions to win. They give you real monetary victories. They don't give you moral victories, especially moral defeats.
So you think come tomorrow they pump fake in the community tomorrow?
Did I not tell you what was going to happen? Did I not show you the blueprint? Did I not show you the John Madden play of what they was going to do 3 weeks ago?
I'm saying it's your story. You sticking to it.
It's the truth. It ain't no story.
Okay.
If it was a story, I'd be making shit up as we go.
I'm just making sure.
Everything that I told you that was going to happen has happened at this point. And y'all can get mad. They can get mad at me if they want to. But can't anybody on here in the screen, in the chat, nobody can come on here and say, Wyatt, you didn't tell it. You said, no, you didn't. You didn't say that. And I'm showing you verbatim everything that I told you was going to happen, happened.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that is, they're going to end up charging. They're going to charge him with a misdemeanor. And then everybody going to be mad at that. And then what's going to happen is they're going to start
protesting. It's a four. They still sticking with that. What's that called?
What do the leaders think they're going to do? They got the, look, bro, the city prosecutor is who charged this. The mayor and all of them, they claiming they don't know anything about it. They're claiming that the city solicitor did this all on their own. But we all know the pressure came from the pressure cookers. That's all. And we already know that they can't up it to a felony, because then they'd be talking to Connie Pillage. Connie Pillage would have filed a felony charge on this individual weeks ago if that's what they were going to do. So they down there faking it, bro. They faking it. They know it can't be upgraded. It's a misdemeanor in the 4th degree. How you gonna go from a 4th degree misdemeanor to a 5th degree felony in a municipal court? It's not even common, please. Get the fuck. See, bro, they play on people's ignorance. Okay, they plan on a bunch of people who want to wear t-shirts and rock signs and shit and act like they really part of something. They getting played. All right, now they can say whatever they want to say, but this is how certain people stay relevant in certain cities, and this is how you get votes, and this is how you keep staying on this old fake ass merry-go-round. That's what this is about. All right, close this out, twin. I gotta get up out of here. Go ahead.
Oh, that's all I gotta say, man. Nice convo, man. You know, if I don't agree with something you said, it is what it is.
Okay. Linda Evans says, actually, it took those so-called leaders too long to do anything in the first place. Linda, because they didn't know. They were pretending that they were letting the process play out. Some of those leaders, Linda, are actually officers of the court, such as myself. They know better. They know better. They know that what happened that night was, let's just say, the Russian. They know what he was facing. They know. But the problem is they know you don't
Scotty
know.
Johnson, part of the safety didn't come out because you got to stay on code.
Say it again.
Why that dude, Scotty Johnson, who's an ex-cop or whatever, he got to stay on code. He part of the safety committee. He had to stay on code.
I don't know what he doing. I just know that he was at that meeting and he was standing in front of the people with the police chief up there, and he was standing up there with the mayor. And I know all of them know better. Your mayor of Cincinnati is a trained attorney. He understands. He can go into a law library and look this up, and he knows what's going on. That's why he ain't gonna speak too much on it. That's why he ain't gonna say.
I'm just wondering, like, you part of the safety committee for the people and everything. I'm like, you know what was going on. You was an ass cop, and people hyping it up, and like you said, watch they charging with a misdemeanor, in which they did. I think it's a waste of time.
Well, it's not a waste of time.
I say dude should take one for the team, let everybody go and start this over.
Well, that's easy for you to say because you didn't get kicked in the head or you didn't get stomped out. If that was my daughter, I wouldn't feel that way. If that was your mom or your daughter or somebody in your love life, you wouldn't want this to just go away. Somebody knocked your shit out, your mama and them out. No, hell no, I wouldn't feel that way either. I'd be like, no, we got to get to the bottom of this.
I ain't getting to the bottom of it. You just ain't gonna hold dude accountable. It's just a waste of time.
Not hold who accountable?
Misdemeanor?
Not hold who accountable?
The white Russian, man.
Okay, so it would make
misdemeanor, man.
So now let me ask you something, twin, because this is where I think you and I may differ. You think justification of all of this is based on what the Russian guy actions were. You think everybody was supposed to get dealt with the way they got dealt with because of what the Russian did.
I mean, if you started the riot, as people really saying off the video, and you should be charged as a felon instead of misdemeanor. You incited the riot, just like they charged a 7-person, 6-person with the riot, $300,000 bet. You should be charged the same way.
Okay,
this should have been prevented. You should have walked your dumb ass home, or your drunk ass home. That's all you should have did. This would have been prevented.
Okay. So
and
now,
all that, but the full video, whenever 3CDC come with it, when trial, that's gonna tell the story at all. Hey, y'all thought it was like this, but check this out.
Right. Okay.
They just showing us crumbs now.
Here's the thing, bro. I'm with you on that. I'm with you on if the evidence is what we see, and that's the only evidence, and there's no other stories to be told. And if that's the same evidence that the prosecutor is using, you're absolutely right. But that's not the case, twin.
Yeah.
That's not the case. The case is, I listened to the prosecutor give a presentation. I heard him read the allegations. I heard him read some of the 527. And I heard him tell the court, the judge, these are the instigators in front of you, Your Honor. These are the guys who started it, and we have evidence to show that they started it. Now, show me what evidence have you seen of any of the videos of this fight or whatever we want to call it. Show me some evidence that shows that the guy in the red shirt started it. Show me some evidence that him and his co-defendants are the ones that started it. Have you seen that yet?
No.
I haven't either. But that don't mean they don't have it. So how could you be a leader sitting up here arguing about who being done wrong and you don't have all the evidence in front of you to be able to even make that kind of a statement? And you've been an officer. You have some that are officers of the court. You have some that are even as high as being judges who are saying things like this, and they don't have all the evidence of what happened that night.
The only evidence I see is dude getting slapped. I mean, dude, he slapped somebody in the red shirt, and
Right.
that escalated. Then
Right.
Holly got stumped to the ground. So only thing we can go off is, man, the Russians started it first. That's
Right.
the only evidence we got in our face. But 3CDC got the real McCoy, man.
There you go. So, Twin, you don't think it's wrong that people who know that there's other stuff out there that could be seen that could show
It's very wrong. That's why I say why Scotty Hyde, the ex-police officer who's part of the safety committee, ain't really talking about it. That's why I say he's standing on code.
Let me give you the truth of the matter, because
go ahead.
Regardless of people hate me, love me, want me to not say what I say, or feel comfortable with what I'm saying, I'm gonna be honest and tell you that I hope that the evidence that they have is not going to send these people to jail. I'm just being honest with you. I hope that what they have is not enough evidence in a court of law to get a conviction. And that's not me saying that I'm okay with those folks getting kicked in the head and damn near, taking punishment that can end their life. I'm not condoning that. All I'm saying to you is it was a bad night. Now, I'm not trying to make light of this, folks, and I ain't on nobody's team. Trust me. But all I can say to you is this: if my mama went to St. Louis, or if I went to Indianapolis with my wife and we was with another couple, and this shit happened to us because some people didn't like what I was driving or what I was dressed in or whatever, if this was to happen to us out of town, I would want a different outcome. I would want them to be punished for what they did to me. Okay. I would have handled it different, but at the same time, bro, we have to I'm not going to and here's the thing. I'm not worried about people who want you to feel stupid or feel like you're part of some group, or you're a Republican, or you're a goon, or a coon, or all this old other shit when I use terminology. But it's simply gaslighting people to make people believe that they've been victims, they still a victim, and the reason why this is happening to us is because they are victimizing us, when in fact the same people who say that are in control of the systems that are making these decisions. Now, I know Connie Pillage she's somebody that, okay, the mayor can't fire her. I get it. I understand that. But that doesn't mean that they don't work in unison to keep the city safe. Do you understand what I'm saying? It don't mean that they don't play ball together to make things happen the way it needs to happen to keep your city safe and on a good narrow. Do you understand what I'm saying? But my point is, for them to jump on the train against the system that they work with makes absolutely no sense to me. And it's really just a play because it's an election year and they're trying to make it sound like they for the people, no matter how wrong the people might be in the position that they stand in. Do you understand what I'm saying? And for me, I don't need a leader like that, because if you'll sell me out for a vote, you'll sell me out to do something that's self-sufficient for yourself, using that power of that seat in that office.
And that's when you hold them accountable, like, hell no, you couldn't get my vote. Remember that broad and you took this and all that? I would bring all that stuff up. And so as black folks, we forgive, but we don't forget, man. And we've been doing that for decades, man. That's all.
Well, I don't think we have much of a choice, man. I don't think we have much of a choice. I believe everything you just said. I agree with you. Here's the difference between forgiving and just basically moving on. Now, I don't believe that. I think we have the greatest hearts in America. I really do believe that. I think as black folks, we have some of the most, I don't even want to say forgiving. A lot of people think that we're really forgiving. No, I think what happens is we have become so abused that we can deal with abuse better than anybody in the country. Okay?
I think.
However, when you deal, it's like a woman in a bad abusive relationship. Some women continue in that relationship because they don't understand that they have choices. And sometimes they don't know how to move different. Even if a choice is in front of them, they don't know how to attach themselves to something different. It's like dysfunction becomes normal. And for us, I believe that we allow things to happen and we just move on. We don't forget, we just move on because it's the lack of knowing what the options are. And then here's the flavor. While you put the sprinkles on top of the bullshit and you bring black leaders in and they're really just gatekeepers and you look like you have a supporting staff when in fact all those leaders truly are people that's keeping things the way that they've always been. That's all it is. It's a disguise of success.
You know about that Taft fight this weekend?
I heard a little bit about it. I heard that Taft got into a fight with a team, and you know, all I can say to him is I don't know the situation. I don't know what caused the fight. I don't know what happened. The good thing is I heard it was just the players, the teams, and it wasn't like the crowd. I don't know that for a fact. I just read a little bit about how they said it was the teams going at one another. I also heard there was a fight at another game in the Natty. I don't know what teams those were. They said it was a Cincinnati public school. They got into a fight, and it wasn't just Taft. It was another school.
What about them? Man, I was looking at it in the chat, man. It was ranging from 6-year-old all the way to 15, breaking in at some Green Hills boutique thing, man. You said they destroyed it.
Yeah, I seen it in our chat in the Wyatt Live Messenger group.
I was like, oh wow, 6 years old. Niggas probably can't even go to the toilet right.
Yeah, well, they doing it earlier and earlier, bro. They out here, kids that young can't do anything that they haven't been taught. Ain't none of them thought about doing that shit. They have to be taught. They usually see it happen and they just duplicate it.
Right. All right. Well, nice chopping it up with you.
Appreciate you engaging. Thanks, Twin. That was Twin. Phone line is open. Area code 513-310-0546. I said what I said about what I said about this court shit. And they can say whatever they want to say. Oh, yeah, okay. Fame, what's up, bro? He said there was a fight at St. X versus Lakota West. And then someone said LaSalle. Terry said LaSalle and Coleraine. That's the one that I heard about, Terry, was LaSalle and Coleraine. I couldn't think of who it was, but it was LaSalle and Coleraine. Fame is saying, and I know he in the circles because he's a referee, he said there was a fight at St. X versus Lakota West. Here's my thing. I don't know anything about the LaSalle Coleraine. I don't know anything about the St. X Lakota West. I don't know anything about it. I don't even know anything about the Taft fight. All I can say to you is this. I'll say this early without any information. I'll give you my opinion, not on the fights themselves, but on fighting. I personally am not going to criticize what happens on the field. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, I ain't tripping if Taft get into a fight with another school. I ain't on the field. As long as it don't pour out in the stands and the mamas and the daddies and the uncles and shit ain't fighting in the parking lots. We seen all that last year. Fighting in a combat sport is pretty normal. All right? It's usually intense out there. I'm not condoning fighting. I'm just saying that's like a boxer and another boxer getting into a boxing match and them not really like, you know what I'm saying? Like everything is just love. That's not always the case. Sometimes you get into situations where it's so intense. You get out there on the field and you fight. That's just what it is. Somebody clip you, the referee missed something, you shove somebody back. That's all normal. That's normal shit. Basketball, football, especially in football. As long as it don't go out in the stands and the people in the stands is shooting and fighting and hollering and pushing over buses and shit, I ain't got no problem with kids, adults, whoever it is, fighting on the field. But now if I find out that it was parents like it was last year, fighting and going out in the parking lot and doing shit and then I gotta speak on it. But if it's just kids, if it's just athletes doing what athletes do, then I ain't got no problem with it. Unless one of them pulled out a gun out of his 7-piece pass set, or a knife out of his 7-piece pass set, or a knife out of his sock or some shit out on the field. But if it's head to head, I ain't got no problem with it. I don't have an issue with that. You feel me? That's sports. It happens. But this shit about being up in the stands and parents barking and, and we've seen it. It's not like, we haven't seen that before. But until I get the information, I'm not going to say anything bad about kids out there, athletes out there fighting, and they had to stop the game and all that old shit. Man, that happens. Football is a brutal sport. It's a brutal sport. Let me go to the phone lines before I get out of here real fast. Good afternoon, caller. This is Wyatt. Who am I speaking with?
It's Ron, man.
Hey, Ron, how you doing? Good afternoon to you.
Good, man.
What's
I'm
on your
good.
mind, bro?
Hey, listen, you ain't tell everything about that quote unquote bra.
Okay.
You ain't gonna tell that they're gonna have to plead out.
Who gonna plead out?
And all of them, they're gonna have to plead out. What they gonna do? Go to court in Hamilton County?
Well, I don't know.
Shit. The only one that got a prayer is the one that hired what's his name? Shit.
I know who
Clyde
you
Bennett.
Okay, I'm gonna let
Clyde
you say
Bennett. Yeah, because he got too many ties to the prosecutor's office. Well, that's why he endorsed Melissa Powers. That's why I endorsed. I voted for Melissa Powers. I wasn't gonna vote for it. It's foolish, and you can look at all this brawl stuff and everything. You can look at this situation and see that it's foolish. It's foolish to vote for a local Democrat. Well, no, I ain't gonna say foolish for voting for the local Democrat because it's some local Democrats that are that have our best interests at hand, like Alicia Reese.
I believe that too.
And it's foolish. The Register has a Democrat in this city because you don't know what you're gonna get because mostly every Democrat or mostly all of those people that represented a dishonest outcome to this broad situation were Democrats, and they didn't do that shit on accident. And you giving them the benefit of the doubt. And although you're speaking on it, you giving them the benefit of the doubt. They all knew. They all knew. The Abtab is an attorney. City. What's his name? Scotty Johnson is an ex-police officer that knows the law. And all of them running them circles. So they all knew. They all knew. And they gaslit the whole community. Now, you pointed it out and everything, but you can look at all of these people. Man, I look at some of these comments and it just breaks my heart. They just, just blind following the blind.
Is it really though, Ron? Is it really? I don't disagree with you. Wait a minute, hold on. Ron, is it really the blind leading the blind, or is it the sea?
They doing it on purpose, and that's crazy. You asked a question, and I wanted to get back to the original question you asked, and you asked twin, or you posed a question. Is that the local Democrat? Oh shit! Something you posed to the conversation about local Democrats. Beginning at the beginning of what you was talking to twin. Now, I voted Democrat all my life. I voted Democrat for 45 years. I'm about to be 57.
Okay.
So 45 years.
Pretty much your whole
45
life.
years.
Pretty much your whole life.
I voted Democrat. Okay. And, I voted Democrat because it wasn't no option. It was just, my parents voted Democrat.
So
I'm voting
you were
Democrat.
taught.
I voted that way
You were
since
taught.
I was 18.
Right, you were taught
Yeah.
to vote that. You didn't necessarily have any ideas about the policies or any of that. That didn't really matter.
Now, but you know what? I didn't pay attention to policy until the situation that Trump said, quote unquote, they said, he said it was both um, good people on both sides when that Charlottesville thing happened.
Okay.
But I was watching it live. I was watching it live. And
it was totally different than what was presented.
yeah. He didn't say that.
I know.
And I was, it was a black dude that MSNBC, and I was watching MSNBC because I wasn't watching Fox back then.
Okay.
I was watching MSNBC, and they interviewed this black guy, and he said that the white dudes, they attacked him and the racists attacked him, and it was just untrue. I watched him punch this white dude in the face, and two or three white dudes hopped on him, hopped on his ass, which they should have. He was peacefully walking down the street. He just hauled off and punched him. And that's when I was like, wait a minute, they pushing a narrative, and that's untrue. Now, what it was I had been to court in Hamilton County, so I knew how the Hamilton County moved down here. Your representatives, the NAACP, NAN, and all that other shit. I knew how they moved down here. So I'm like, wait a minute. What the fuck? I'm looking at them push this narrative. I'm looking at this untrue statement. And I'm like, that's not right. Now you fast forward to a little bit further when Trump signed that First Step Act. Let all these black folk out of jail. And I'm like, wait a minute. He signed his First Step Act. Ain't nobody talking about it. What the fuck? And then they still saying he ain't doing nothing for black folk. But then I had to go back. Wait a minute. What did Obama do? What did exactly Obama do for black folk? In any kind of way. And then I looked and see, how he done something for everybody else, but didn't do nothing, just is something as simple as pardoning that chick that was getting locked up for 20 years, and she's now the person that is in charge of expungements. He got her out and got that First Step out, and I promise you, I'm a tied in. And then I looked at the Congressional Black Caucus, and I had to look. What has the Congressional Black Caucus done in the last 50 years for black folk? And I looked, and they had Indian folk.
Okay.
Nothing. And nobody, and y'all can call me MAGA all you fucking want to. Shit. What the fuck? You a fool if you call me MAGA and not accept the fact that you ain't got shit for your black vote. You ain't got shit locally, and I know what the shit you getting.
Let me say something about that. Let me say something about that. Here's the favorite. Here's the go-to when you say stuff like that, Ron. Correct me if I'm wrong, okay? Okay.
Yeah.
When you guys say things like Obama didn't do anything for black folks, or y'all voting Democrat, And what are you getting for your vote? When you say stuff like that, what's the return served? What do they always say to you? Well, what do Republicans do for you? What is this such a Republican doing for you?
I said the first step.
Well, wait a minute.
They won't accept it.
Okay, well,
oh no,
maybe not. Maybe
he
not.
Did a lot. I won't even speak on it. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Maybe not. But here's what I will say: the difference is, and people don't really want to hear. They don't want to hear this piece of truth. But the truth of the matter is, they ain't never promised us nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never see. Here's the problem.
Well, how you get my vote, and you still go? You don't, and it's a trip. All these old.
Wait a minute, hold on, Ron. I gotta make it. I gotta make that. It's so simplified.
I'm sorry,
no, I'm just saying it's so simple what I said, but it has a lot of weight to it. What I mean by that is this: you're talking about what somebody is promising you and what they're doing for you. And to be honest with you, where I think a lot of people miss, people who are against Democrats, y'all miss this. Y'all always say the Democrats aren't doing anything for y'all. And you always say that they're going to promise you something and that they don't deliver. I think the reason why you feel that way is because Democrats have a funny way of explaining how they're going to help you. And it goes back to what I've always said, and they always talking about the other guy. They never talk about what they're going to do for you. And
hold on, this is what you said. This is what I remember the question.
Okay,
you said, how come we haven't flourished as a group?
No, I said, why have we stood stagnant as a population?
No, yeah, I got a phase. I can't.
Okay, no, that's what you meant. But when you say flourish,
so it's the same thing, and we haven't flourished as a group of people because of people holding us back, and that's a trip.
But who are those people that are holding us back?
Listen, the Black leaders hold us back. And Black leaders hold us back because they won't have anything to lead. They won't have anything to lead. They don't want us. They like the poor Black people. They like poor Black people and painting a narrative that you can't get it because of white folk.
Let me ask you something, Ron. Can you help me out with something real fast? I hear you on that, and we agree on that. Okay, I promise you we do. I just got to ask you a question before I get out of here. I'm at the top of the hour. I want to ask your opinion on something because this should be a clear and cut situation, and I think this might help you in how you've been positioning yourself politically lately, and maybe you can teach me something. What are your feelings about what Trump is doing in Washington, D.C. with the crime situation? Do you agree that the National Guard being there has helped their situation and that's a good thing that has gone on? And I mean, they haven't had a killing there in the last 11 to 12 days, I believe.
Yes.
So is that a good thing or a bad thing of what he's done?
It's a good thing.
It's a good thing. Now, here's my question. I'm sorry. Let me just ask you. It's a follow-up question. Let me ask you this. How could someone be angry at someone that's trying to stop violence in a city, and that violence meaning rape, carjackings, murders, robberies are happening a majority to Black folks? How could that be a problem for Black folks when we see that crime is down, and there's no murders in the last 11 or 12 days? What person would see that? And why would you argue against that position? Who would do that?
I seen Brandon Johnson on Fox today.
Okay, that's the mayor of Chicago.
Yeah, the mayor of Chicago.
Okay.
And, they was talking about, he being a tyrant.
Brenda Burke just said.
You're going to get a kick out of this.
Okay, go ahead.
And
I got you.
He was saying that the murder rate has gone down. They only had 200 murders so far. Now. I mean, look at all you motherfuckers that call me mega. Fuck y'all. Fuck y'all. This Democratic mayor. That's what that really. And what I'm explaining to y'all is like I said, it ain't been murders in the white community. There's been murders in the black community, in their hood. And he said, the murder rate has gone down. It's only been 200 murders so far. And y'all, I'm again, say fuck y'all. They call me mega and all that shit.
Don't let that worry you,
because
it doesn't.
Because no, I'm just disgusted because that's a Democratic mayor, a black Democratic mayor.
Well, I mean, what do you expect?
That won't protect his people.
Right. What do you expect?
That won't protect his people.
What do you expect?
No, I don't expect nothing less than what we getting. And that's we ain't got as bad as Chicago.
Right, but Ron, here's how you have to look at
it.
Ron,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Ron, let me just say this.
That pissed me off.
I need you to calm down a little bit because what happens is when we get excited, we're not as believable. You see what I'm saying? We get emotional.
Yeah.
So what I need you to do, let me take the wheel for a minute. Let me just say this to you. I understand what you're saying. I think it's a slap in the face to black folks when I see things. I'm going to show these guys a video right now. I think when you can fall for it ain't in the black community, that's just foolish. When you go back and look at the murders that are going on in Washington, D.C., and it's the 13 and 14-year-olds and the 17 and 18s and the early 20-year-olds, and you see that it's black kids, black men, black women dying, it's very foolish to sit back and say that this isn't happening to the black community. And it's exactly what people with those playbooks have. They try to they downplay it because they want you to believe that it's not what your actual eyes or what the facts truly are. They want you to believe that. So they want you to believe that it's just mythical. It don't really exist. The murder happened, but it don't happen the way you think it happened. So it didn't really happen in the way that it's been presented. So there's no, you shouldn't believe what people tell you, but the murders are happening. Okay. And the bottom line is this. Anyone, now y'all can say whatever you want to say about me. Anyone that has a problem with black folks being safe in their own community, you're not helping. You're not helping by acting like that this isn't a real thing. Hold on. I'm trying to say this the best way I can. I don't want to get emotional like you. You may want to reevaluate your leadership and who tell you what. Okay, because it's clear that if there hasn't been a murder in Washington, D.C. in the last 11 or 12 days, that there's a factor that's allowing that to happen. And you may not like that factor. You might even be dealing with somebody that has convinced you that what's going on is hurting black folks and that we're the target of this. Someone said, I think it was Brenda, she said earlier while you were talking, she said, hold on, where is it? She said, the National Guard is not in the black community. Okay,
they freeing up the people to.
Wait a minute, hold on.
Look at videos of them blasting the communities with police. The National Guard is not there to police. They can't. They're there to free up the police officers so that they can police.
Right, but they're also a deterrent. Okay, they're also there as a deterrent. They are there to be able to add a little bit more visibility on a street where a person might not want to carjack something on that street. You see what I'm saying? So they are serving a purpose. Now,
people, the bootleg man, what is that? A drop, or is it famous to say that the bootleg man right now?
Oh, that's
Boule man.
They pretty much both say that, but it's usually fame that pretty much go into that type of talk. But you're right. I mean, there's a group of people that will convince you that now all black folks are being hurt. Here's the thing, man. You know, to sit back and say that black folks are being harassed in Washington, D.C., but yet you don't have any murders or anything going on, it's a double-edged sword. I don't know. Are they arresting innocent black folks in Chicago or in Washington, D.C.? I haven't heard any complaints of that. All I've heard is there's no murders going on and carjackings are down 32% and things of that nature. I'm hearing that these deterrents are put in place. Y'all act like these people are in these cities with shotguns, M16 walking down the middle of the street, and that they're just putting people in the back of cars and driving them off and never being seen again. There's people that want you to believe that's what's happening, but that's not what's really happening. I find it very offensive that someone will criticize a challenged neighborhood for looking better because you don't like who put the medicine in the candy. You don't like who did it. So you would rather, it's just like Lightfoot in Chicago. The opportunity for her to knock some of the crime down in Chicago was handed to her, and she refused the National Guard. And within 2 weeks, there was 138 murders, not in the white suburban areas. It happened in the areas of where we live and where we go. And children, innocent children were being shot, things of that nature. And you turn down help because you don't want it to come from somebody that can show you that what you've been doing is wrong, or show you that y'all systems just don't work. And when you show somebody that they systems don't work, it make other people with some damn sense, meaning us, it make us look and we be like, wait a minute, hold on. It's no different than what they're doing with their county pillars right now in the city of Cincinnati. Now they can look back and be like, well, wait a minute. Maybe some of them, not all, some of them could say, maybe the prosecutor, it don't matter if they're a Republican or a Democrat. Maybe it's about the law. Maybe that's what it's about. Maybe that's what it's ultimately about. Some ain't gonna think that way. Some gonna be like, well, she just as bad as the Republican. They keep it that way because that's all they have. That's the only Armstrong play that they have. It's always us versus them versus us. They have no common sense point. There's no common ground with these folks, bro. It's always going to be radical. It's always going to be something that's so much against you that it can't be no other way. There's no other reason that this is happening. It's always got to be us versus them. That's how they live, bro. That's how they get their program started. That's how they eat. If they're not trying to save a motherfucker, they ain't doing nothing. So they have no other position in life other than be somebody's savior. That savior benefits that individual. That's why they do what they do. They ain't really trying. Look, you ever heard that old saying, Ron, never let a what is it? Not a tragedy, but never let what was it when we had the pandemic? What was that called? It was a what? Somebody help me out.
I can't.
I got the wrong one on here now.
Yeah, you right. You got the wrong one on here.
I'm just saying. Never let a son. Never let a. What was the? I'm drawing a blank. I got so much going on. What was the pandemic? It was a what? It was a disaster. Never let a disaster go without capitalizing. And that's what one group people actually do, bro. They love it when something go wrong because they can dust themselves off and come out. And there you go. Thank you, Dante. Never let a good crisis go to waste. Crisis is the word I was looking for. Thank you, Dante. And I'm sure it'll be other people. All I'm saying to you is that's how some people function. Crisis. Don't let a crisis go to waste. And that's what they do, bro. I don't care if it's kids fighting in the street. If it's kids being dropped off the bus stop and they acting fucking stupid across the city, they gonna find a way to create something to make money off of these crises. It ain't anybody's business, man. They can be handling this shit a whole different way. I don't care what it is. Those folks are put in those positions to capitalize off crisis. They ain't shit if a crisis don't happen. They're nothing. They can't solve a fucking math problem if a crisis don't happen. And that's just what it is, bro. And here we are right now where a crisis is being created in this fight downtown. Now, it ain't about the law. It's not about Democrat or Republican. It was never about that. it's about unjust. Now they're gonna go down there tomorrow and scream at a man that committed a misdemeanor and try to hold it to the same caliber of people that feloniously assaulted people by kicking them in the head while they was down. It's not the same. It ain't got nothing to do with who started it. That's not how the law don't say shit like that. The law don't say because we was walking down the street and you looked at me wrong, that you had a look on your face that you was gonna kill me, so I shot you first. That don't mean nothing. The law is in a place that tells you this: you assaulted me with a knife. You didn't know I had a gun in my back pocket, so I shot your ass. So there's self-defense that would match into the, okay, you're extreme over, some would say a gun over a knife is an extreme, or a gun over hand combat is extreme. Some would say that, right? I get it. But at the same time, you can't say that a misdemeanor, that's like, okay, I'm about to give you a $200,000 bond for jaywalking. But now let me ask you this. If you jaywalk in the middle of the traffic with a 2-year-old, and the 2-year-old is running through the traffic because you jaywalking without holding the hands, now you have child endangering, and you probably deserve a $200,000 bond for doing some shit that risks that child's life. You see what I'm saying? It's just different. You wouldn't give me a $200,000 bond if all I did was jaywalk. But now when I get to the severity of what I'm doing, there could be other charges. There could be something that, oh, you deserve it now because you put other people in harm's way. Now you got a felony 5 charge or a felony 4 of child endangering because of what you did outside of jaywalking. And for some odd reason, y'all want to argue all he did was jaywalk. All he did was jaywalk. You want the person that jaywalked to get a $200,000 bond, just like the person that had the kids that jaywalked and the kids ran out in the traffic. It's just not the same. And we can sit back and say, oh, well, he started it. It doesn't matter who started it. It really don't. I don't know why your leaders won't tell you that. They didn't read the law up in front of you. They know that it's a matter of interpretation, and they know that interpretation is wrong. They know that shit. They just ain't going to tell you. What good are they of a leader?
Hey, Wyatt.
Yes, go ahead, bro.
Hey, Wyatt, is Fame still on here?
I don't know.
You know?
I don't know.
Hey, man, I wanted to call in and tell us about that fight at St. X. We ain't even hear nothing about that shit.
What fight? St. X?
Yeah, the fight at St. X. Anyway,
but hold on.
They trying to replace us with that Latino vote and that immigrant vote.
Okay.
And that's why Trump trying to get those damn immigrants out of here. And it's a tit for tat. But I'm gonna go ahead and let somebody else call in.
I'm out of here.
Baby annoying me out.
I'm out of here, bro. I'm at the top of the hour. I gotta go, bro. I really have something that I got going on, and it's at 4:30, and I'm at the top of my hour. I gotta get out of here.
All right.
Hey, I appreciate you coming in and engaging with us. Okay, Ron. I appreciate you.
All right, Ron.
Don't be a stranger. That was Ron. Look, I'm at the top of the hour, but let me just say this to everybody, bro. I don't say what I say just to say it. There's purpose. There's meaning. I ain't on nobody's team. Nobody comes on here and pay me to say or feel how I feel and how I say. I'm not on anybody's payroll. I'm not friends with any of them. You know, it's not that. It's nothing personal. I'm talking about the people that I discuss on here, the leadership. The truth of the matter is some of us just see the game and some don't. If you don't see it, you don't see it. If it doesn't affect you in the way that you feel is, you know, if you don't get it, I'm sorry. If you don't see what I'm talking about, that's fine. I get it. I'm not mad at you for that. All I see is the same thing that I've been seeing for a very long time. It's the same playbook. And I think the only problem that I have with this particular situation and this playbook and what's going on is I don't like my people to be put in a position where they think they're being led by real leaders, and they think that what they're seeing is strength. I've been telling y'all for a long time, these same cats pick soft targets. They pick soft targets to go after. Here's another soft target. Here's another soft target. It's always something about the law. It's always something about interpretation of the law. It's always something that's not really cut and dry to people because they don't know the law. They don't understand. I think it's almost like a preacher taking advantage of people who may not study the Bible like a preacher. Preacher may see a verse in a book and interpret it and explain it to you one way that matches that person's life. And now they took that word from that preacher and that preacher made it relevant to that person's life. And now that person look up to the preacher and that preacher can't do no wrong. Meanwhile, they got your ass out there painting the roof, putting the roof on the church, giving your 10% tithes, got you watching kids and doing all type of other shit, cutting the church grass. They running you through the damn, you know what I'm saying? They using you up because you believe this interpretation of what the preacher then told you about this verse and how it matches your life. And it's no different than slave masters using the Bible to manipulate slaves. Slaves thought they were supposed to be there. I know I'm about to get some blowback for that, but it was a reason. What unconscionable thinking person would be so brutal and nasty to people and then on Sunday sit on the porch and read the Bible to their workers, to their slaves? Unless you playing manipulative games. You're trying to keep them stagnant. You're trying to keep them in place. Everybody needs they need a tool in order to get that manipulation off. For a lot of your leaders, it's race relations. They need you to be dumb to the shit so you can't catch on. I'm telling you. And anybody that's standing out here talking about that racism, and city racism, the racism and the laws unjust here and there, why do we? They don't know. That's just an easy way for them to get it all figured out. I'm sorry. I ain't trying to, limit people's. I ain't trying to limit you. I'm just being honest with you to tell you it's a lot more explanation than just racism. Sorry. Some of the richest people in your city. All right, hey, Jeffrey Durden said, sounds like Donald Trump. Let me tell you something else that's going to sound like Donald Trump. Okay? Some of the richest people in your city that you call racist are black folks. The city that you call racist are black folks. And them same black folks using your ass. And I bet you don't make a fraction of what they making. Not you, Jeffrey. But people that think like what you talking about, that got to use Trump for your explanation of defining everybody. Follow the money and you'll find out who acting like the person that you always want to call ain't shit. Follow the money. Find out how much money these people out here making on your disasters in your city. Follow the money. That's all you got to do. When you learn how to follow the dough, you might get a little bit more what you looking for. If you open-minded. I done heard some shit about my mama before. I never wanted to believe it. You know what I'm saying? That's my mother. It's hard to believe things when you think you love somebody. Here's what I'd like you to do. Here's a homework assignment for everybody. Try not loving somebody so much that don't love you at all. Just because they say they love you don't mean they love you. It's kind of hard for somebody to go in a room and talk to people or go on social media and tell everybody that's watching them, oh, I love you. I love all my people. I love y'all to death. You love them more than they love you. How I know that is they don't even know you. How somebody gonna love you that don't even know you? So I say, let's take a fast on loving. Not get away from love, but let's try this. Try not loving somebody that don't really know you. Try not loving them for 30 days. Keep an open mind about that individual. Follow the money. Follow their participation in your so-called city. Pay attention to what they're benefiting off of from the crisis. Open your mind to those type of things and you see if love really exists on both sides. Because I'm going to tell you something now. A lot of these motherfuckers ain't got nothing for you, man. They ain't got nothing for you. They need you more than you need them. And you love them. I'll see you guys same place, same time right here tomorrow. Peace and love to everybody, man.
Face for your face. Face for your face. Face for your face. Yeah, boy. Oh, running for your life by the night, running from your wife. Yikes! You should have stuck with home. On your mind to blow your dome. It was you that chose you do. You built a maze you can't get through. I tried to help you all I can. Now I can't do nothing for you, man. I can't do nothing for you, man. You got all these people on your back now. I can't do nothing for you, man. Flavor Flav got problems of his own. I can't do nothing for you, man. Go leave on shelves, answer, man. I can't do nothing for you, man. You jumped out of the jelly into a jam. Making love the wrong instead of right. Gonna be cat burglar through the night. Cops called your girl, her name was Shirley. About a rooftop crime to steal a pro. Uzi down, no bullets in the gun. The judge microwave them, serve the gun. The lawyers tried to help them all they can, but they couldn't do nothing for you, man. I can't do nothing for you, man. His choice of crime, their choice of die. They couldn't do nothing for you, man. Yo, Jack, let's sing. Rock that shit, homie.